Hello, what's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to y'all. Good to see ya. Sad News Bears, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. W Van House, Dylan Hunter, G Fugold, Rhonda Me, Bobby, W Van House. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone having an amazing week, having a great Tuesday. Today, we're going to have some fun. We're going to play some standard Apocalypse for the 53rd month. Welcome back to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Are all 4 constructed formats getting bans in 2 weeks? Not standard. I guess there's some outside chance of like an emergency ban in standard. Seems very unlikely. I would expect bans in all the Eternal formats. So I think Modern and Legacy, basically a guaranteed. Pioneer, I hope there's also bannings. Standard, I think very unlikely that there's bannings. Tuka Buddy for the 27th month and Mackerel Snow for the 5th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. 27 months, nearing the big 3. Oh, I know that's such a long time. Thank you so much, Tuka Buddy. So today, we're gonna mess around in standard. We're gonna start with this interesting Boros deck that I think comes from an infamous small Japanese tournament, actually. I'm very intrigued by Caretaker's talent, because when I saw Caretaker's talent, if you just read the card, it looks like a card for token decks, right? When you see this, I think, okay, I'm going to play some sort of like black-white token style deck where you just flood the board with creature tokens, go super wide, try to smash your opponent to death. But it turns out that the way people are playing this card is actually the exact opposite, where it's kind of this weird control card where you just play this and you have stuff like Fountain Port to make a token, Carrot Cake to make a token, anything, Archangel Elspeth makes a token, Sunfall makes a token, Urbrass Forge, so it turns into this repeatable card advantage engine. And then, yeah, maybe eventually you like level it up or whatever, but I'm very intrigued to see if this card is actually good. So we're going to start with some Boros token control, and then maybe do some brewing. We'll see. I got a bunch of decks. We'll see as we go along. Bleezy, welcome to the Fishbowl for the 5th month. Thank you for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Do you think we'll see restrictions in Timeless? So Timeless works on its own schedule, so I don't think it's tied to the BNR necessarily, although, boy, the energy stuff's very good. We'll have to see. I don't know. Timeless is such a Wild West, and I haven't played it too much since Bloomburrow dropped. I've played so much Standard lately. I've only played it a little bit. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be tied to the BNR as far as I understand it. Had something amazing happening to me today. I bought a foil Mercadian Mass Dark Ritual from eBay. It got lost in transit, and I got my money back. Today my doorbell rang, and I had to sign for a package. No idea what it could be. Hadn't ordered anything for months. Turned out it was my lost foil Dark Ritual. I got a Mercadian Mass foil ritual for free. Hey, that's pretty sweet. Phil just had that happen with a camera, I think. He tried to buy a camera and had something like that happen and somehow ended up with a free camera, and he was super hyped about it. But is the BNR update next week? 2 weeks from now. It is the 26th, I want to say. Yeah, the 26th, Monday the 26th. So almost exactly 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from yesterday is the BNR. Yoda Man, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. So what are they going to ban? Okay, so the tricky part, Standard, I actually think is pretty... I mean, you don't want to ban anything in Standard right now. I don't think anything needs to be banned. I think Standard is actually very good right now. We just went through rotation. So Standard, no changes necessary. Modern, I mean, Nadu's got to go. That's number 1. Hopefully Grief goes as well. If Wizards wants to be aggro, and I almost think they should. I think what they will do is not ban anything from energy, and they're going to wait and see what happens from the Nadu banning, and then probably have to ban some energy stuff eventually. I think you ban Nadu, you ban Grief, and I wouldn't mind banning, like, it sounds absurd, but like, maybe Guide of Souls? I don't know what the right card is there, but I feel like there is a risk that once you ban Nadu and Grief, that energy becomes like the new tier 0 deck. So I don't think they're going to do that, but I could see an argument for it. The hardest format is Pioneer. So Pioneer, big problem. What are the problems in Pioneer? So the problems in Pioneer are, number 1, Rakdos utter domination by metagame percentage. Like right now, we're looking at 36% Rakdos midrange. That means more than 1 out of every 3 matches that you play, based on the data we have, is going to be against Rakdos midrange. So I think you have to do something about Rakdos midrange, but you also have Amalia combo, which is problematic in its own way. Turn 3 wins, draw us the game. And then you have Is It Phoenix. Is It Phoenix is the really, really tricky one. Dogamith, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Zip Thank you. I really think that wondering, hey, what's up, awesome dude? Good to see ya. What's up with you? It's been a minute. The One Ring also needs to go, but I think it's being overshadowed by the other stuff in the format. I would be surprised if they took action on it now. I fully believe that it's going to have to be banned, and it should have already been banned. But I think it's... I don't know, maybe they added it to the list, but my guess is it's been overshadowed by Nadu and so forth, and we're going to have to deal with that in the future. I would like just a big B&R. Get all the problems out of the way. Let's start fresh. Go from there. Reindeering, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Soup Cheer for you. Thank you. You got me, awesome dude. You got me. Excuse me. Pioneer is the hardest one to figure out. I think at Pioneer, so as I was saying, Rakdos Vampires, too big of a metagame percentage, turn 3, not literal kill, but like pseudo kill deck with the Vein Ripper thing. Abs and Amelia, literal turn 3 combo deck that's hard to interact with. And then you have Is It Phoenix. If you get rid of Rakdos Vampires and Amelia and you hit those, then I think the Treasure Cruise Is It Phoenix thing just immediately jumps up to problematic levels. So I almost think in Pioneer, I think you need to deal with all three of them at once. I think you have to... Rakdos Vampires is the hardest one. Banning something like Sorin or Vein Ripper, it sounds silly. It sounds absolutely silly. But at the same time, like, what else are you going to ban from this deck? Like, what else do you target with it? Elzadar, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Soup Jeffrey, thank you. Hey, thanks Affinity for Squirtle. Thanks for swinging by. So I don't know what exactly you ban. I would lean towards... You can't ban Thoughtseize, right? That wouldn't do any good. Fable? Do you ban Fable? Does that even matter? Do you ban Sorin? Because that's like the least impactful of the cards. The older than Vein Ripper. I don't know what you ban there. But I think in Pioneer, you almost need a package banning where you're like, I hit something from Rakdos Vampires. I hit Amelia, I guess, or Wild Growth Walker, maybe, out of the Amelia combo. And then the Delve spells probably should have just been gone anyway. I guess Sorin is the cheatiest card. And the other upside of banning Sorin is it doesn't see play anywhere else, right? If you have to choose to ban something, I think you're better off banning the card that is in the smallest number of decks, because then it's harmful to the least number of players. Like, banning Thoughtseize is going to hit a ton of people who spent money on Thoughtseizes. Banning Sorin only is going to hit people who built Rakdos Vampires, which is still, like, a bummer. No one wants their cards banned. But I think it minimizes the impact of that. So I would probably, like, ban Sorin, ban Amelia or Wild Growth Walker, and then ban Treasure Cruise, and throw in Dig Through Time if you want to, and then just call it good. And then Legacy... Yeah, Thoughtseize is kind of, I think, the force of Will of Pioneer. As much as it's frustrating to get Thoughtseized, I think it's kind of a necessary evil to keep the broken stuff in check, or attempt to keep the broken stuff in check. Gier Magello for the 20th month. Hey, Seth. Long time since I could watch a stream. Are you a believer in Devour of Destiny now? By the way, I love seeing you play 12 posts for Eldrazi Winter. Devour of Destiny's, yeah. That card's really good. That was a card during spoiler season I was kind of, like, skeptical on. But as soon as I started playing with it, it won me over, like, pretty much immediately. So anyway, we got a couple weeks ago. We can talk about this as we go along. But yeah, the banning's gonna be interesting. I'm expecting a big B&R announcement. We need a big B&R announcement outside of Standard, which I think Standard's in a relatively good place. We'll see where it lands in like another month or two, but for now, I think it's in a good place. Plus, remember in Standard, the schedule is so wild. Like, we're 3 weeks away from starting Dustborn spoilers, and then we get Dustborn a few weeks after that, and then we're like 3 weeks away from starting Foundation spoilers, and then we get Foundations. It is a wild schedule. Also, Watsy did a stream. Oh, Nadu will be back. I would stake my hat on it. I don't know if that's even a phrase, but I think Nadu was the most likely card. Grief and Legacy, Nadu and Modern are the two closest to guaranteed bannings that I've seen in a long time. Like, I think people would be riding at Watsy headquarters in the parking lot if those cards were not banned. I think Wizards has to for their own safety at this point. I think they just have to ban those two cards. Plethora of Moose for the 25th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your... Oh, don't ban Shuko. I could see them banning Shuko, and it would be so wrong. Seth, never looking at the power of setting up a good turn one play. I knew both Flage and Devour would see play. I mean, honestly, I was pretty high on Flage. if you listen to the podcast, I was the one arguing with Richard and Crim that Flage was going to be good. Devour, I don't think I was harsh on, but I definitely remember being like, if I'm playing Tron, do I want this over like a Karn? Like, what am I cutting to put this in there? Should they ban Grief? Yes, they have to ban Grief from Legacy. They have to. I think there's no... we didn't even look at the Legacy meta because we don't play Legacy that much, but the Legacy meta is arguably the worst I've ever seen in Legacy meta. Having one deck be 25% of the meta in Legacy is wild. It is hard in a format with 30 plus years of Magic cards to have one deck be that dominant. This is like one of the most dominant periods that we've ever seen a deck in Legacy. Like, so I think they definitely have to ban it. I miss you so, Lucid, I missed you so much. Kind of hilarious that even though teaching Magic was my job at camp, I only played like 6 games of Magic myself over the 6 weeks. It was an amazing experience though. I know the feeling, Lucid. It's so funny, like, oddly, and I play a lot of Magic now, but still, when I think about it, I'm pretty sure I played more Magic before I made content than I do once I started making content. Because once you start making content, then you have to like do the editing and write the articles and do the deck text. When you don't make content, you can just like jam game into game into game. So yeah, I've had that same exact experience that like, I think I'm actually playing less Magic now somehow, that it's my job. You should do another Brawl video. I love the Omnath deck. Yes, we need to do another Brawl video soon. Check out some of the new commanders. So anyway, let's do our reminders. We also got some news from the WotC stream today I want to bring up, and then we'll do some magicking. Cloud8068, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. What do you think about Bloomburrow did for green in standard? I've been finding squirrels to be surprisingly good. I think that green is doing better than it was before. It's still a little bit soft to sweepers, but I feel like we've as we look at a Sunfall deck we're about to play, but I feel like there's less sweepers now than there used to be. That was a big problem with green, is you just kind of like puke out all these really big creatures, and then someone Sunfalls you and you're very sad. But I think it's getting better for green. It's getting there. What about unbans? Could they happen, or perhaps unban some cards to combat things like energy? I don't know what you would unban to combat energy in specific. I'm definitely a big believer in unbans. I think that the modern ban list in specific right now is kind of silly, because the cards on the ban list, many of them were banned in the context of modern from 5 or 10 years ago. And modern from 5 or 10 years ago is not relevant today. Like, it does not matter. Like, what was good 5 or 10 years ago looks silly today compared to the power that we have in modern now, thanks to the Horizon sets. So cards like, yeah, Splinter Twin, Birthing Pod, there's a Green Sun Zenith, maybe Green Sun Zenith would add too much consistency. Glimpse of Nature, I think, is an easy one. Umezawa's Jide. There's like a pretty big list of cards that I would personally think should be unbanned. I don't know if I expect unbans at this BNR. I expect a lot of bans. So it might be a case where what Wizards does a lot of times is they'll have this big BNR where they ban a bunch of stuff, and then during the boring times when there's not really anything changing, that's where they throw in a random unbanning. The problem with banning and unbanning stuff at the same time is sometimes it can like mess up the data. So I'd almost like to see, okay, ban a bunch of stuff, see where the meta settles, then unban a bunch of stuff. But I think there's several things that could be unbanned. How do we feel about not doing Commander? The good news about Commander is, at least in theory, it's self-regulating. The whole, like, you play something really busted and then your play group gets really bad and they give you dirty looks, or like, you know, punch you a few times and then you stop playing it. So I think that's what we're leaning on, is Commander regulating itself. Nadu is just a mistake card. It shouldn't have been printed with the text it was. I don't know if Wizards just like didn't read it, or it was a last minute change like Skull Clamp, or how they ended up here. But I think that in theory, Commander is better able to survive things like this because you self-regulate and you just don't play all those cards. They should just ban it, but instead, I don't know. The RC's busy making a list of unset cards that might be safe for the format. So I feel like the RC likes to do things that can't possibly anger anyone. I feel like that's the number one goal of the RC. Like, no one can really get too mad if we make a list of unset cards that are kind of okay. But if we actually ban something, we might get some angry emails. Sniper Snyder, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big tip, thank you. Was Skull Clamp originally supposed to to be weaker. Skull Clamp is actually an infamous example of what happens when you change things at the last minute. So initially, Skull Clamp was supposed to give the creature +1/+1, and then at the last minute, they decided, in an attempt to power it down, make it +1, -1, thinking, oh, now you can't equip it to 1 toughness creatures. But then it turned out that giving it -1 actually made it essentially like a combo piece with any 1 toughness creature, and that's what broke the card. So initially, yeah, it was actually a last minute change that ended up turning Skull Clamp from a very good but like not broken card into an absolutely broken card by accident, like while attempting to power it down. Anyway, let's do our reminders real quick. Replay YouTube, that's where you find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube, yesterday did some paper magic with Richard. How you liking the paper magic? I think we're gonna do more. I want to do more paper magic. One thing I really like about paper magic is even when we end up in like Nadu summer, where I just don't really want to play Modern right now, it's still a way we can play Modern and see those cool things and get all those old cards. So I want to see more. It's something I want to do more of, like in my head. And I don't know if this is possible, but I would love to have weekly, like a weekly paper thing. I think maybe we end up in a world where it's like each week, instead of 3 digital series and 0 paper series, maybe we end up in a world where it's like 2 digital series and 1 paper series. It's just like, I got to get someone else to do it with me. Got to get everyone's schedule straight. The editing's a little more, so it's a matter of like getting it set up. But ideally, I would like to do like a paper thing weekly if we can actually get to that point. So could Jund lose to Standard Pauper? Yeah, maybe that's the series. We just make Richard play Jund, Modern Jund from 2014 against various decks from other formats and smack around Tarmogoyf. Nadu should have read, when a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability in certain Nadu stacks, this only triggers twice each turn. Yeah, that would have done it, right? I think, hey, what's up, Doug? How are you? Maybe we'll have to do a paper battle, Doug. But I think that maybe that's what they wanted Nadu to be. I'm still not sure. They haven't addressed it, right? As far as I know, they've never actually explained what went wrong there. There's actually an article. There's actually an article about the Skull Clamp, but I wonder if I can find it. I wonder if the article's still up, because the article explaining the Skull Clamp banning is just so good. It was so direct and just like, we messed up. Here's what happened. Like, here's the design process that led to this point. Sorry, everyone. We are bad on this one. It was handled so well for a bad situation, but we haven't seen that with Nadu yet. So I'm not sure if Wizards thought that's how it worked. If it only triggered twice each turn, period, it would be still a good but a fine card. Hunt Lepin, welcome to the Fishbowl. I'm actually a little sad for Nadu, because Nadu would have slight tweak of wording would actually be a really fun card that you would play in your commander decks. You could have it as your commander. It would even be like a fun value-y modern card maybe. So there's worlds where it could have been like a positive, but the wording it ended up with just turned into a combo piece that wins the game on turn 3, and no one really likes that. So it kind of hurt Nadu too in a weird way. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtdgoldfish. If you get a free goldfish sticker, just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. So the other news before we get into this deck. So two bits of news we need to talk about. One is that Wizards announced yesterday that they're releasing pre-con decks on Magic Arena for the first time. There's 2 paper decks, 2 standard decks, a dinosaur deck and a toxic deck, and then 3 brawl decks. These decks are kind of interesting. So one thing I like about them is if we go over to the store tab, they take into account the cards you already have. I actually was looking at this, and if I want to buy the decks, wow, wait, I guess I already own most of the decks. I had more of them earlier, but yeah, so you can see the cost of this deck is 9,190 gems, but it takes into account that I already own pretty much all the cards, so for me, it's only 10 gems. I think it's a cool option. I think the deck choices themselves probably could have been a little bit better. Like, if you look at the decks they put on there, the standard dinosaur deck is like super casual. I don't know how you ever really, I guess you could play it in unranked sort of if you like dinosaurs. The toxic deck, a little bit more competitive, but still not really like a tier deck by any stretch. Since they're pricing it based on how many rares are in there, I'm kind of surprised they didn't just like put in, I don't know, mono red or Gruul or even Golgari, like some super tip top tier deck, because it just doesn't really matter, right? Because you got to pay based on the number of rares and mythics in the deck anyway. But I do really like the option. I hope this is the first test run of this, because yeah, I know, whole deck for 10 gems. I hope this is just a test run, because what I would love to see is like, it's a Pro Tour. It's a Pro Tour top 8. We see what the decks are. You go to Magic Arena, you can go to the store, you can just click a button and buy whatever deck won the Pro Tour or whatever deck you like most from the top 8. I think that would actually be really, really beneficial. As it is now, it's supposed to be like a new player intro thing, and I kind of just wish the decks were maybe a little cheaper and a little better. I think if you actually math it all out, the mana bases are better, although keep in mind that the toxic deck costs twice as much as the dinosaur deck. So if you get good lands and whatnot in your deck, you just pay more for them because it's priced based on how many rares mythics you got in the deck. I would say, I think this is a good option if you really want the deck. If you look at the prices of these decks, you're getting a discount compared to buying the wild cards and then putting together the decks or whatever. It is cheaper to just go here, click a button, get the entire deck. The only problem is it's not like a ton cheaper, and a lot of these cards don't really go into other decks. So if you're just trying to like build a collection and you don't actually want to play this deck in specific, then it's probably still better to like draft or buy packs. But if you're going to play the deck, it's actually a fair deal, and you do save some money based on what you would pay for wild cards. I like the brawl decks here. The brawl decks are really cheap. They're almost kind of like budget to some extent, and I think it's cool to have a really easy way for someone to pick up brawl. Like, very easy. If you don't know anything about the format, you can just go to the store, click the button, spend some gems, end up with a full deck. It's a really good intro to the client, and I think that's something Arena's been missing. So I think this initial run is kind of like okay, but I think there's a lot of potential for pre-con decks on Arena. So I think that's good news. The other news we got from today, oops, that's the wrong deck. That's Ebbs and Roots. The other news we got, there was a Wizard stream today, the weekly MTG stream, and we got a little bit of news from the stream. So there's a whole bunch of news, but the big news is Pioneer Masters is still coming. We've been waiting for this. It was supposed to be last year, then it's supposed to be this year. We still don't have a date, but they are working on it. It's going to be coming. So that's happening. Foundations is coming in November, and they're going to start funneling new players into Standard rather than Alchemy, which the idea that they were funneling people. So this is not a complaint about Alchemy. Alchemy, that's old news. We talked about this years ago. Whatever. If you love Alchemy, great. If you don't love Alchemy, great. But it's really weird to me that you would funnel new players into Alchemy in specific when that doesn't exist in paper, because I would assume you would want a new player that like learns Magic on Arena to be able to be like, okay, now I can go to my LGS, or now I can go to a Magic Con and I can play my same deck and play it with people in person. And that's what Alchemy is kind of lacking. So I think that that's a good idea, to focus people there, new players there, rather than into Alchemy. And apparently that's what's going to be happening once we actually get Foundations in a couple of months. So Pioneer finally coming. Standard coming back. Mana Confluence reprint. Why is there a deck limit? I don't know why there's a deck limit, honestly. They don't have the technology to let you have more than 60 decks, apparently. Oh yeah, we also got more Secret Lair drops. There's so much D&D Oko. Asterion, Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond, Anguish Unmaking, Mortify. Oh, these D&D Secret Lair drops are going to sell out almost instantly, I think. So this deck, what are we doing with this deck? This is Caretaker's Talent, Token, Boros Control. When isn't there? I know. I don't even know if Secret Lairs are news anymore because there's so many of them. At some point, there's just so many of them, it doesn't even matter. This deck is everywhere. I actually took the Sunfalls out, though. Wait, everyone's playing this deck? Oh, that makes it less appealing. Why are people playing these decks so quickly? People got to slow down a little bit so we can play them on stream first. Did people still use Mortify in EDH? People still do, but it's not optimal anymore. Like, some people still use it because it shows up in a lot of precons, but there are basically better there are basically better options available. So it's not like it used to be. There was a time like 10 years ago when Mortify was actually one of the best removal spells in the format that would make it in most of my decks. Now I never play Mortify because you can just play Anguish and Making or Utter End. There's like such a huge list of removal spells that are better. It's still fine, right? It's not a horrible card by any means. And people play it because it shows up in precons and it's super cheap. If you don't want to spend $5 on Anguish and Making, you can play Mortify essentially for free. So anyway, Boros token control. I love this deck. It's so 2 days ago though. Okay, well, all right. So what do you want to? Should we switch? So here's the decks that I have. Here's the decks that I have for today. Or we can brew a deck. So I was gonna play Boros token control, but maybe this is old news somehow. 28 minutes to get to the deck. I remember why I love. You never know what's gonna happen on the stream. All right, let's play the token deck. So what is this deck doing? We can switch halfway through. If people get bored of it. But I really want to try it because I want to see if it's good. So this is Boros Caretaker Talent Control. Caretaker Talent. I mentioned this before. It looks like a token card, and it is a token card, but maybe a token card for control deck. So the first level is when a token ETBs, we get to draw a card once each turn. So this deck, we are playing a bunch of things that make tokens. Carrot Cake, when it enters, or when you sack it, you make a 1/1. Get Lost, we could hit our own thing and make some maps. Ourobrass Forge, token every turn to attack with. Archangel Elspeth makes a token each turn. Sunfall makes a token. Eternal Wanderer makes a token. So the idea is, Caretaker's Talent is like this ridiculous card advantage engine, and that doesn't even include Fountain Port and Mirrex to make even more tokens. So we get this down, we're just drawing an extra card each turn, and eventually, Caretaker's Talent's card advantage lets us just overwhelm our opponent, and then eventually we win the game by, I guess, Ourobrass forging or like carrot caking, but we just draw so many cards that it won't matter. Eventually we'll win the game somehow after Caretaker's Talent draws all the cards in the world, and that's basically the plan of the deck. Plus, you might notice, main deck, 0 creatures. Hey, see you, Doug, thanks for swinging by. 0 creatures in the main deck. So once we go to sideboarding, we can bring in Sunspine Links, we can bring in Bizas depending on the matchup, Bonehorde Rakosaurs, and probably our opponent won't have much removal for creatures in their deck because they're going to think we're a creature-free deck. So it's not quite a transformational sideboard, but it's like almost a transformational sideboard. So let's do some Boros token controlling. See how this deck actually works. If we're going for tokens, what about Azorius Nexus of Beginning deck? Ooh, I haven't played with Nexus of Beginning yet. How has Nexus of Beginning been? Every time I see Nexus of Beginning, I'm like, oh, that seems really cool, but I haven't actually built a deck around it yet. Let's give it a try. Copying the Forge keeps it around pretty nasty. Yeah, keeping the Forge token around is sweet. His link's been good as you hoped. I haven't played any standard yet. It's very strong, but it really is matchup dependent. Right now, there's a lot of mono red in standard, and against mono red, it's pretty bad. So it's a little matchup dependent to play in the main deck right now. Yeah, all right. Yeah, looks like a control hand with a bunch of removal. This is a list from a infamous small Japanese turn. Let me see. The name is on the list if you click on it. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher someone's name here. Kahoi Kamiyama. Something like that. But yeah, it's from a small Japanese tournament. So not my own list on this one. Christy and Y, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. All right, how about a Caretaker's Talent? Have you been enjoying Witchtalker Frenzy in your standard decks? I haven't been playing Witchtalker's Frenzy nearly as much now as I used to play before rotation, I found. It's still fine. It's not bad by any means, but I haven't had the need for it as much. Let's put it on white, pass the turn. I guess we just keep passing for now. When was the tournament? Crokies was playing this last week. I don't have a date. Let me see. Invasion of Amonkhet, I guess we just discard. We have so many lands. We might as well discard a land. All right, come on. Oh, even more removal. Maybe we got a mulligan for Caretaker's Talent. Maybe without the Caretaker's Talent, it doesn't actually do anything. Ruthless negotiations, eh? Is our opponent a discard deck? What is actually happening? Ramping up to Nexus at beginning and then exiling Chimist, Portal Phyrexia, Thunderfolk throughout because so satisfying. Do you have a deck list that you've been playing with it? It's crazy how uncommon cards like more removal. What I would give for a Fountain Port right now. Fountain Port would be so good. Fountain Port would solve like all of our problems. Found it. Spending their counter to make a spirit since we're not doing anything. Oh, your go, opponent. Opponent. Yeah, I mean, Monstrous Rage is just a really good card. I think we're going to see more uncommons be valuable. Wow. Oh, 2 Breast Forges down. What is our opponent doing? Oh my god. It's a Lightning Helix. Well, we'll pass the turn. Opponent, Spirit. Well, we will Helix it. We've done nothing. We've done nothing. Hey, what's up, Stone Rain? How are you, opponent? Undercity Sewers. So what y'all do this weekend? Anyone do anything cool? Cruel Somnophage. Did they just... Oh, there's no creatures in the graveyard. There's no creatures in the graveyard. Oh, they just ran it out to its death. Hoops indeed. Oh, when is Command Fest LA? No, they're Phantom Interference. Well, oh my god. It's another Lightning Helix. We're not drawing anything we can play, so we're just drawing a removal opponent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ruthless negotiations. All right, you can have our Sunfall. Sure. Just joined the stream. I saw a list everywhere this deck that played Quintorius Khan over Elspeth. Do you have thoughts? Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. It's a Fountain Port. Finally. Finally. So I feel like Quintorius is probably worse with Caretaker's talent. Let's go the Restless Reef. Out of here. I think it's probably worse because it's token production. Oh, I forgot to Fountain Port. I don't even know if I think we just wait again. Let's just pass. Is there some combo? Does this combo with Cruel Somnophage for some reason? Opponent. Another Invasion Amonkhet. Sure. Mill some cards. We'll discard a Helix. Is our opponent a mill deck? Is that their game plan, to be a mill deck? Teresian Mindbreaker. Well, we will get lost the Mindbreaker. Fountain Port. Make a treasure token. Untap. Play the talent. Oh, wait, but now they're going to be able to flip it, aren't they, with this Reef? Huh. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter, because what are they going to flip into? There's still no creatures. All right, play the land. And level... do we even level it up? I guess we level it up. Level it up, copy the treasure? It's kind of free. Get another treasure. Oh my god, Get Lost is actually very good here. Get Lost is actually very good here. That can deal with the creature land about it. Land. And. You gotta try it. You gotta try it. Oh. Chase Perfected Mind. Alright, alright. Oh, we're gonna get milled out. We're gonna get milled out. What are your thoughts at the end of the day? So I don't feel like this deck has...
All will witness Phyrexia's truth.
Wow. All right, fair enough. Ooh. They would have milled 45 cards there, technically. Oh, that was something. So Quintorius is more mana. I don't think we have any synergies for Quintorius. I mean, I guess it's fine. I don't think Elspeth is particularly strong. If I was gonna play Quintorius, I would almost want to like add more Quintorius synergies, just because we don't really have any Cast from Exile synergies. So I feel like, I don't know, they're probably close to being about the same. I guess Quintorius does make a bigger token. I don't know how relevant that is. Elspeth is cheaper. I don't know. They're probably roughly, I would say they're probably relatively similar in power level. But if I was going to play Quintorius, I'd probably try to build around it a little bit more. Why don't you play Blue-White Control on stream one day? I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Am I allowed to play Blue-White Control? I think there's rules against that. Well, let's bring in the Dracosaurs and the Lynx. This might just be a literally unbeatable matchup. we might just not be able to beat our opponent's deck. I'm starting to think there's like we have so many bad cards. I don't know if we can beat this deck. It might just actually be impossible. All right. All right, let's go. Elspeth also gets your artifact token generators back. Yeah, that's an upside if they die. You can actually ultimate it. The ultimate's more relevant on Elspeth. Really? All lands in a Dracosaur. We do have a Fountain Port. Maybe this is fine. I mean, we're not going to... Oh, no, we're going to mulligan. We need... All right, I guess this is better. We can put the temporary lockdown to the bottom. This is okay. This seems like such a bad matchup. About it. Undercity Sewers. Passes. Cityscape Leveler. All right, we'll get to that soon. About it. Undercity. The thing is, like... Oh, I like playing Control, too. I just don't usually play Control for content. I feel like drawing a bunch of cards with Caretaker's talent might actually be a drawback in this matchup. We might be just helping our opponent here. Fountain Port. Go. I mean, we came here to do a thing, which is make tokens and draw cards. We're going to keep doing that. Wow. 3 steps ahead to loot. Are they just going to get back Mindbreaker and mill half of our deck on, like, turn 4? We don't have enough cards to sideboard out. Lockdown's bad, but we just don't have enough cards in our sideboard. I feel like we're... Maybe it actually is rigged. Is our opponent rigging the game somehow? Are we just dead? That's two trees in Mindbreakers. Well, make a fish, draw a card. Haha. Too bad we don't have graveyard hate. Visa. Okay, that's a 4/5. Well, go to combat. Hit you with the fish. And Elegant Parlor. Elegant Parlor. Well, Dracosaur's a card. It is a good card. Opponent. We can draw it before it gets milled. Now we can play it and hope for the best. Are you guys going to use the Patreon to choose... Are you guys going to use Patreon to choose decks for Commander Clash by Champ? Really? The funny thing is I feel like so many of our opponents' plays are like super weird, but it just doesn't matter because the matchup is so bad. Invasion of Amonkhet. Well, we will make a fish, draw a card before we get milled. Like, why would you kill the fish? Opponent mills us. We'll discard a Lightning Helix. Opponent draws a card. Should white get a Stifle effect, or would that break the color pie? I mean, it would probably break the color pie, but they should probably also still get it, I think. Like, traditionally, I think one thing that Wizards should do that would improve Magic is finding ways to give more color stack interaction. We've talked about this a little bit before. I don't know exactly like the best way of doing it for every color, but I do feel like more colors having stack interaction would be a positive. Yeah, we gotta just let those go. Sure. Pass the turn. Because our opponent's gonna try to mind break and like copy the trigger a bunch of times or something ridiculous. Found it. Passes. Well, we're gonna keep fishing. Yeah, our opponent spent double bitter triumph on fish so far. Draw a card. Oh, that's a Lynx. This Lynx is gonna win us the game. This Lynx is gonna win us the game. That is our game plan. That is our game plan. We're gonna win with this Lynx. Well, let's go to combat. Let's get in with the fish. Hit ya. I'm kind of scared of playing. Are you gonna do it again? Are you gonna bitter triumph our third fish? Our opponent was thinking about it. Our opponent was thinking about it. They were thinking about just murdering another fish. Phantom interference. Sure. About it. Gets a 2/2 flyer. They want to flip that invasion of Amonkhet, I think. About it. Combat. Attacks. Invasion of Amonkhet. Sure. Down to 2. Well, let's make a fish. Draw a card. Untap. Carrot cake. Well, go to combat. Do some attacking. We're kind of winning at the moment, right? Our opponent stopped drawing lands. So we're kind of winning. Hit ya. Carrot cake. Draw a card. About it. Were the scam decks just removed from the store? Oh, the precons? Do you already own all the cards in them? How about Rebrass Forge? Post-combat. Like a pro. Pass the turn. I think it depends on if you already have the cards. If you already have the cards in the deck, I don't think you can see them in the store. Although I'm not 100% sure, because I could see some of them earlier, and then when we just checked, I could only see one of them. So I don't know what's going on with the precons in the store, but I do think, my guess is if you already have the cards, you can't see them. Do we even care? So our opponent's going to flip this invasion, and they get a 4/4 Teresian Mindbreaker. I guess that's kind of fine. Sure. Am I missing something that makes this way worse on us? Yes. Okay. Mindbreaker. Opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another invasion of Amonkhet. Opponent's a big believer. Well, let's discard the talent. Opponent draws. If we draw land, we could... Well, let's see. Soul Guide Lantern. This deck is something. Soul Guide Lantern. Exiles a card from the graveyard. Sure, it's our Carrot Cake. Well, kill the Mindbreaker. We're so close. We're so close. Another Get Lost. Dracosaur? Let's go to combat. Let's get in. Draw a card. Creature land. Hit ya. Down to 7. Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 non-basics. Hit ya down to 7. Let's play a Dracosaur. And the creature land, pass the turn. Did you see Jim Davis was playing small Japanese standard decks? Oh, I didn't notice that. It's infamous small Japanese tournament. Oh yeah, so reminder everyone, I'm glad you brought that up. Next week, viewer battle stream. So if you would like to play some standard and show off your super cool brews next Tuesday, same time as this week, that is the time. That is the time. We're gonna try to blow this up. Get rid of that Teresian Mindbreaker, hopefully. maybe. All right, Phantom Interference, sure. I mean, they mill half of our deck, but half is not all. That's not going to work. This has First Strike. Found it. Mills half of our deck. We'll kill the Mindbreaker. That is a very not powerful fish. Exile a couple cards. Draw a card. Oh, we didn't even get to cast the legs. Just landed a job. Hey, congratulations, Ario. Oh, that's awesome. You mentioned like a week or two ago you were getting interviews, right? So I know our sideboarding looks weird. The answer is, if we go back to our original deck, we have so many things we don't want in the deck that we don't have enough cards to bring in. Like, because we started like this. If we go back to our original setup, these were out, these were out, these were out. These are out. These are all in. These are in. I think this was our initial setup. Something. Oh, no, there was. Oh, the Lawrence. The Lawrence route. I think this is how the deck started. So if you look at our sideboarding, Torch the Tower doesn't really do anything against our opponent's deck. So that's got to go. Temporary Lockdown doesn't do anything. So that's got to go. Sunfall doesn't really do anything. So that's got to go. So we're just kind of desperately bringing in anything that sort of does something because we have so many cards that do kind of literally nothing. So that's how we're ending up with like Cityscape Leveler. It doesn't do anything specific in the deck. It's not especially good in the deck. It's just better than like Temporary Lockdown or something, because Temporary Lockdown is like kind of just a 0, like do literally nothing. At least Cityscape Leveler, it's a 8/8. Like that's something. Hey, what's up, Cat Cam fan? Where is Cease? Oh my God, so Bear. Oh, I've been working on repainting part of my house. Oh, so it's been. I'm gonna have to show y'all a picture. How do I get a picture on here? I gotta show it to you because I need someone to back me up. Let me see if I can send this picture to myself. Because I gotta show you this because I want your opinion, chat. I need someone to say what they think of this. Let me see if I can get this picture, and then I'll show it to you, and you can give me your take, and then I'll tell you the bear story too, because the bear story is connected to the connected to the painting story. All right, send. There's probably a better way of doing this. All right. Pictures being set. Sorry, opponent. Yes, we'll just play a tap land. Milled Elegant Baller. Pass the turn. Just finished watching Crim's video today, and along with your discard video, do you think the deck works in Pioneer/Explorer? We're going to have to try it. We're going to have to try it in Pioneer/Explorer. I think the answer is yes. There's already Waste Knot, right? So we already have Waste Knot in Pioneer that's very good. So I think you could easily throw some aspect of the standard discard deck in with the Waste Knot shell and have it be pretty good. Ooh. Ruthless Negotiations. I guess we just go down a Lightning Helix. The Demolition Field's actually pretty good for our opponent. We're going to try to bait with this Sunken Citadel, I think. Maybe they blow that up. If they blow that up, that's good for us. Play the land, pass the turn. Ooh, is opponent missing land drops? They are. Okay, there's hope. Oh, and that's a Lynx. That is a Lynx. Play the land. Play the land, pass the turn. They're just going to kill our Fountain Pour. I don't really want that. Oh, yes. Do it. Blow up that Sunken Citadel. Yes! It worked. We got him to blow up the Sunken Citadel. Okay, so next week viewer battle stream. So if you would like to get your name on the list early, I would email me, saffronolive@mtgoldfish.com. Seth at mtgoldfish.com goes to the same place. email me to get on the list early. If there is time after we've gone through the whole list, we'll take people from chat too that haven't signed up. But if you can get yourself on the list early, it greatly increases your odds of actually playing. So send me an email and get on the list if you want to make sure you have a spot for viewer battles. All right, now we can play our Fountain Port past the turn. Yeah, I think Roll Claws Heist might be a little bit underrated. It's been taking off more and more in Pioneer. All right, there's an invasion of Amaget. Gonna mill some cards. Sure. Well, we will discard. Opponent passing. Let's make a treasure. Ooh, there's an Elspeth. I don't even know if we play it yet, though. Let's play the Fountain Port. We got to make sure we don't get got by this Restless Reef. Also, have you noticed our opponent's really focusing on getting basics down? Did they see a Sunspine Lynx last game? Or are they just accidentally getting lots of basics? Another demo field. Ruthless Negotiations. Okay. Oh, I guess we get rid of the Lynx. No, actually, let's get rid of the Biza. Let's get rid of the Biza. Opponent draws a card. Next Tuesday, a week from today. So normal stream time. Opponent passing. Well, let's make a treasure. Untap. Oh, Eternal Wonder 2. Miss our land drop. Oh. They have a Mindbreaker. This is a very tough situation. So if we play an Elspeth, we can start making tokens. Yeah, let's just pass. I think we gotta wait. We kind of want our opponent to do the first move. Have you seen the wild playtest cards for Mystery Booster 2? I've seen a lot of them. A lot of them look really sweet. I'm actually pretty hyped for them. Let's make a All right, we'll just float a mana. Float a mana, lose a Fountain Port. Opponent came prepared for the land meta. Grab a Plains. Make a fish. Don't do it, opponent. Leave our minnow alone, opponent. You fish murderer, you. How many of you are gonna try to get the Mystery Booster Festival in the Box thing? Is it worth it, you think? Opponent mails us. Can we expect some Mystery Booster limited content from Vegas with the Goldfish crew? Ooh, that would be fun. We did an unset draft last time we were there, and it was kind of miserable. But Mystery Boosters would be really fun. I don't know if we have a setup to do like a real... I don't know. We'll have to see. I would like to do it. If we can figure out a way to do it, I would like to do it. Yeah, let's just keep passing, I guess. This is like this matchup is so weird. I'm so afraid to do anything. Because I'm afraid we're just going to die if we do anything. Ruthless Negotiations. Sure. Get rid of the Lauren. Opponent draws a card. And passes. Well, we will sack the token to draw a card. So many basics. Cityscape. Our hand's so jank. Cityscape Leveler. Dracosaur. How are we not hitting lands? Why are we not drawing lands? We're falling super... Oh, this is so bad. The thing is, if we ever tap down, we're just going to lose. We're just going to lose if we tap down. Found it. Basic. Well, make a treasure. I guess our best bet is just keep making treasures, and that's our mana source. Oh, still not a land. Okay, let's just pass. Discard a hand size. Where are all of our lands? Discard. We kind of want the Cityscape Leveler in the graveyard anyway. Discard the Cityscape Leveler. Opponent untaps. Handful of cards. Magic, but if you tap a land, you lose. Oh, that is what we're playing right now. Make a treasure. Untap. No! God, there are lands in our deck. I swear there are lands in our deck. I promise. All right, Urbra's Forge. We gotta do something. We tap lands. Now, I think this might be where we lose because we tapped our lands. I'm in a budget commander league at work. I'm still headed into the semifinals. Ooh, what are you playing? Opponent, counters and draws. Well, I mean, the thing is, we know our opponent's a combo deck, right? So if we don't leave up interaction, we can just lose to their combo any given turn. Because our opponent's it's not that we are worried about our things getting countered. Like, that doesn't really matter. The thing is, if we don't leave up 2 lightning helixes, we might just die at any moment. That's the issue. The counter spells, whatever. We can slog through the counters. We have a handful of ridiculous amount of action. So that's not a problem. The problem is more the sudden death that we saw in game 1. Oh, this is the weirdest matchup. Falling behind on lands is so bad in a matchup like this. Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta... I mean, Fountain Port is helping. At least it's giving us something to do as we do nothing. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're 2 lands behind right now. The treasures help a little bit. Oh, and now we die. Yeah, our deck cannot interact with this.
I've already read your thoughts.
Man. Well, I mean, I guess at least our opponent's copy Jace plan is kind of spicy, I guess. Wow. Do we have Fabled 4 basic land cards in Seth's deck, or is 3 the limit? That was brutal. That was brutal. I don't know if our opponent's deck is good, but it's really good against what our deck was doing. Our deck really wants to play against things playing on the board, not the stack. That's the biggest issue. That's why you don't usually see non-blue based control decks. Is non-blue based control decks can't interact with things on the stack. Hey Seth, have you seen all the Twitter buzz talking about Innkeeper's Talent Roscoe one-shot combo? It was fun to watch your YouTube video playing it. Yeah, I noticed LSV saw the combo today. I mean, I think it's actually busted. I still think it's actually busted. Has Seth seen the playtest cards? Let me see. I've seen some of them. I haven't actually looked at all of them. Between rounds, we can look at them. We'll look at the full. I believe the full spoiler is out, right? We'll look through them. We'll remind me after this round, and we'll look over the playtest cards. We'll do a little breakdown of the playtest cards. I mean, so I'm curious, chat. How hyped are you for the playtest cards? Like, how do we treat these cards? Well, Torch the Tower is going to be good against this Dread Knight, that's for sure. How do we treat these cards? Do you think of these cards as, like, unset cards? Do you think of them as real quote-unquote cards? Like, if someone wants to play with one of the playtest cards, are the odds the same as an unset card? Higher, lower? Doesn't it matter? Like, if someone goes up to your like, whatever, commander pod, they are joke cards. We have seen some of them become real cards. I think some of them... Ooh, that's awkward. Well, let's make a fish. So we can draw a card. Opponent's going to gift us another card. Blow up our Caretaker. Oh, are they not? Okay, going to gift us a card to blow up the Caretaker's Talent. We draw even more lands. Well, play the land. Pass the turn. We'll find another one eventually. We have seen that in the past, right? Playtest cards become real cards. I'd allow them in Commander if they run them by the group first. So basically like a silver border card. I wonder if the RC will add them to the list. of the approved silver border. I'm very curious to see what happens. So if you didn't hear about this, the Commander Rules Committee, the group that does the bannings, they are working on a list that's supposed to come out, I think, the end of this month of unset cards that they think are safe for Commander. I'm very curious to see if it has an impact on the format. Like, I'm curious if it's going to function like a unbanning, essentially, or like a pseudo unbanning. If people are just going to treat it like, oh, if the RC said these cards are okay, then they're okay, or if they're still not going to be. So they were explicit that they're not unbanning them. They're just posting a list that's going to be like, these ones we think are okay, these ones you should be careful with, these ones we think are not okay, but it's not actually changing the ban list at all. But I'm interested to see if it actually has an impact. Like, are we going to see more silver border cards now? Are people going to start playing them because of this preacher? Are people going to start playing them because of the RC's approval? Does it not make any difference? Some of the unset cards are pretty cool. I don't know. We're heading towards a world where so much more can be legal. Like, I feel like a lot of unset, not even just the flavor, but the mechanics and stuff, I feel like it's becoming less and less necessary, because I feel like we're going to have just more and more black border cards that essentially do the same thing. Man, if you steal something good off this, well, oh, that Sunfall would have been good. Instead, we have many temporary lockdowns. Oh, all right. Well, opponent, Sunfallless, Mosswood Dread Knight, sure draws a card. And Mortuary, well, let's make a fish. I don't know, so far this deck has not impressed me. So far this deck's felt pretty jank. Maybe it's just the matchups, but so far it's not super impressed. We have all these temporary lockdowns that are dead cards. Maybe it's just the matchup. It seems like the deck is very skewed to fight against the aggro decks, and we're just not playing against aggro. Opponent gonna go to combat. Gets in. I mean, this Lightning Helix might let us get rid of this Preacher eventually. So block. We can't sack. Let it go. Down to 15. Opponent's drawn so many cards. Cruel Claw-sized. Well, we will kill the Preacher. Opponent's going to take a lockdown. And, what, Sheoldred? Glissa. Okay, that's... Well, we can block it with the fish. We can block it with the fish. Make a fish. More lands. Elegant Pollard. Urbra's Forge. We need card draw. Does Forge even do anything here? Is it worth it? I guess we can keep it. All right. Come on, fish. What are your thoughts on Super Friends in Standard? I know you played the Innkeeper's Talent deck, but I wonder what would happen if it was just a Super Friends shell with Ickermoon Gauntlet. Ooh. I mean, Ickermoon Gauntlet's a super cool card. What Planeswalkers do you think would be best with Ickermoon? Well, let's sack a token, draw a card. Fizzle the Glissa. Draw the Forge. I mean, yeah, it's really hard. Doubling Season is just so strong with Planeswalkers that the Insta-Ultimate, oh boy. The Insta-Ultimate's just so good that it's hard to pass up. Well, okay, the Get Lost was a pretty good draw. I feel like you could definitely do it with Ickermoon Gauntlet, but I feel like Ickermoon Gauntlet would be... It would definitely, I think, be hard mode compared to doing it with Innkeeper's Talent. What Planeswalkers do we still have? Ooh, another Pillage. I feel like Pillage the Bog is still criminally underrated. I don't know why every deck is not... Like, why is every deck not playing this card that's in its colors? It seems like such an easy 4-of. I mean, it's like an impulse that turns into a demonic tutor, essentially. I don't know why a card is not just like the first card that people add to every Golgari deck. It seems so... I mean, I guess maybe it's too slow against aggro. I guess if there's any argument against it, maybe that's it. Well, sack the token, draw a card. Mirix is doing a good job of gumming up the board for now, at least. Oh, even more lands. Let's see what planeswalkers we have in standard. What planeswalkers do we have? Super Friend's a little bit different now, because it used to be we had so many planeswalkers, but now that they've switched to one planeswalker per set, there's actually not nearly as many as there used to be. I feel like just War the Spark put more planeswalkers into standard than we have in the entirety of 3-year standard now. Opponent Mills and Mills. Liliana the Veil. Sure. And takes it up.
You think you can win? Don't overthink.
Well, discard the land. Make a fish. Carrot cake. All right, play the land. Go to combat. Hit the Lily. Carrot cake.
Good Undertaker.
Make a rabbit. Land to the bottom. I feel like if we don't have Caretaker's talent going, the deck runs out of juice pretty quick. When we do have Caretaker's talent, it's a little different. Opponent's gonna tick up. All right.
Drop it.
Discard the lockdown for now. Opponent discards a land. Ooh, opponent firing up the creature land. Getting in there. Opponent goes attacking. Huh. Gonna eat the talent. Sure. Are we dying? We might be kind of dying here. I'll make a fish. Block. Block. Sack the token, draw a card. We're making so many game actions to not do anything. Fountain Fort draw. All right, Torch the Tower. Oh, also, tomorrow, going to be streaming a bit in the afternoon on the Ultimate Guard channel. So if you're looking for more streaming action, Get Lost is kind of good. Let's play Urbrass Forge. And go to combat. Make a token. We're kind of getting there. Ish, maybe. Sort of. So make the token, go to combat, get in, hit the Lily. Down to 2.
Oh, I really don't have time
And pass the turn. About it. I mean, the tokens make it really hard to get through. Yeah, I pulled up the Planeswalkers on Scryfall. Ooh, another scrap shooter. All right, sure. Ooh, I imagine that's our Urbrass Forge going down. Yup. I mean, we get to draw a card at least. Ooh. Okay, that's an Elspeth. That's actually a good card to draw. Opponent, combat. Attacks. Well, let's sack the Carrot Cake. Make a rabbit. Scry, draw, keep the Carrot Cake. Where are all of our talents? We're so lacking in talents. Block, sack, draw. We've caught up to our opponent in cards just using Mirror Port, essentially. We actually have more cards in hand than our opponent now, somehow. Opponent gonna go for the throw to fish. Sure. I think we actually want this Liliana to tick up for now. I think we can let it go. About it. Land. And passing. Well, in that case, all right, let's torch the tower, get rid of the Lily. If our opponent's not going to take it up, then we got to get rid of it.
Fine. I'll take my zombies and leave.
Elegant Parlor. Well, Carrot Cake. Make a rabbit. Land at the bottom. Play the parlor. Another one to the graveyard. And yeah, I think we Elspeth. Playing Elspeth. Make it. Oh, this would be so much better if we had Caretaker's talent going. We're just making so many 1/1s. Where are all the talents? Pass the turn. But we're not. This Glissa has not hit us once. So looking at the Planeswalkers in Standard, I would say. Yeah, go for the throat the 1/1. I would say that the main thing with Ickermoon Gauntlet is you need to cast a bunch of spells, right? To trigger it. Oh, opponent. Going to town. Going to town. All to go for the throats. Really wants to put an end to our tokens. Goes to combat. This isn't going to work, but opponent attacks. Opponent attacks. Well, sack the carrot cake. Make a 1/1. Scry. Elspeth to the bottom. This doesn't have trample, right? All right, block the raccoon. Kill the Glissa. Threats dealt with. This deck has to be pretty annoying to play against. Our opponents had such better cards than us, but they just cannot slog through the 1/1s. Dread Knight. Cracks the map to grow it. This thing's going to be a problem because it has trample. That's actually a real... Ooh. Just kidding. That was going to be a problem. Instead, we will draw Sunfall. Get rid of the board. Take up Elspeth. What happens if we reanimate with Elspeth? Oh, there's a lot of cake. There's a lot of cake in the graveyard. Wait, is this non-land? Non-land. Opponent sacks to gain. I mean, our opponent's going to dig through their deck with this pillage, so it might not work. But we'd get back 2 carrot cakes and an Urbras Forge. That's not bad. Opponent goes pillaging. Is Streamlabs being a pain still? Had a donation and a question, but had to wait for it in between rounds. Ooh, no, I don't think so. I just haven't, wait, you had a donation and a question, Mega Magic Carp, or you're going to do it? Streamlabs should be back to normal now. I believe it's fixed. So if you should be able to do it whenever you want to, and I should see it. Opponent. Wow. Too many 1/1s. Too many 1/1s. I can't believe that actually worked. The power of the 1/1 rabbit. Yeah, I don't know about a traditional Super Friends deck. So like Jace, we saw Jace kill us last game. Urza, I mean, the Malded Urza is very strong. The backside of Urza is ridiculous. It is a little work to get to. Not as simple as just playing it, of course, but the backside is a ridiculous planeswalker. Skinny Empoleon, welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big tip to your face. Thank you. We played some Ickermoon Gauntlet in the past. I don't think we played it in a Super Friends deck primarily, though. We played it in that weird Is It deck, and it was actually really cool. Maybe we'll have to revisit it at some point. Hey, Seth, have you played around with Bandit's talent yet? It's made hand destruction really good in Standard. Yeah, it was actually one of the early access decks. One of the very first decks we played was a 8-rack style discard deck. Ooh, Beseech the Mirror is spicy. I wasn't playing Beseech the Mirror in mine, but yeah, it was very similar to this. Bandit's talent, a couple of Painful Quandaries. I think discard's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty, for the first time in a long time, discard's actually pretty good in Standard. So what do we want against this deck? What have you been liking in Brawl, Cloud? What's the sweetest of the new legends? Also, how bad has Nadu been? So I mostly haven't played Brawl recently, just because I've been playing a lot of Standard since we got rotation. But I also, whenever I talk to people about Brawl, someone's like, Nadu's ruining it. Nadu's so bad. Nadu. Is it actually that bad? Is Nadu actually ruining Brawl, or is it not as bad as it sounds? Yeah, let's go down the lockdowns. Something like that, maybe. There are some cool commanders. Rank Brawl would be interesting. Every time I try to build around Balin, I just end up wishing that there was Academy Manufacturer. I think once Nadu's banned, we're probably gonna have to try to modern, because I feel like in an Academy Manufacturer deck, Balin would go so wild with Manufacturer. It'd be so good. I already love the like token machine deck, but Vine Reap Mentor, sure. Well, we will. Actually, do we even want to kill that? Yeah, I guess we should. It's better against Dread Knight, but getting rid of that's fine. Play the land. Mill the leveler. Hey, what's up, trainer? How are you? Good to see you. Welcome. Opponent going to do a little gifting with a Cruel Call Heist. Coming for our Carrot Cake opponent. They might actually be coming for our Carrot Cake. Stealing our Carrot Cake. That's like the most Bloomburrow heist. Cruel Claw stealing the Carrot Cake. Actually, it's always Sunfall. They always steal the Sunfall. Well, let's play the Carrot Cake since our opponent didn't steal it. Igra's coming. I've been working on an Igra deck. So there is an Igra deck in the works. Preacher of the Schism. Would prefer that not to start drawing cards. We might just have to get lost it. I think we gotta get lost it, unfortunately. Play another tap land. Mill the creature land. Get in, hit ya. What's this deck's gimmick? Or the Eager deck? This deck, it's a token. Oh no. I don't know if all these gifts are actually helping our opponent as much as they might think they are. Like, they're still missing land drops. We're just gonna have to beat them down with 1/1s. This is the token control deck where the idea is to generate a bunch of card advantage with the Caretaker's talent, which I guess we're gonna see our opponent do rather than us. And then it draws you a ton of cards as you're making tokens and eventually beat your opponent down. Well, okay. Another Fountain Port's fine. 2 Fountain Ports is actually better than 1 Fountain Port. Get it, hit ya. I am a little jealous of that Caretaker's talent, though. We did kind of want that. Well, tap land go. I recently got an Alt Art Tangrath Telram Hero for cheap. Ooh. Sheoldred. The art is so cool and badass, very unique. Any must-plays that I miss, or is it just cool on-theme stuff? I don't know. Let me look. I don't know if I've ever built an OG Tangrath commander deck. So next turn we can get back Cityscape Leveler. That's pretty good. Heck yeah. Down to 12. We might just win next turn. Here, let's finish this game. I think we're almost about to finish this game. And then I'll look at the deck. Opponent gonna get to draw a card. They're doing what our deck is supposed to be doing. Well, Mirix. Mega 1/1. Fountain Port. Mega 1/1. So we can hit our opponent to 2? Is it even worth it? Do we just level? Yeah, I think we do. Getting rid of our Caretaker's talent seems worth it here. Blow up the talent. Hit you down to 2. Hope our opponent doesn't draw a Sheoldred here. Opponent, 3 poison, 2 life, untaps, and dies to the fish. Please? Hello, Stafford Olive. How you doing? Magic is such a hobby that it takes up most of your time, so I just want to ask what you thought about what you would do if there was no magic. Wow, what would I do if there was no magic? So, Ooh, scrap shooter. That's a good question. So other thing I really enjoy is I really enjoy music. That's what I used to do the most before I started doing Magic. So maybe something involving music. Create Magic is the best answer. I would go back in time and create Magic just so I could play it. Opponent doesn't want to die. What a shame. So we don't have lethal here, right? We don't have lethal. Let's play the creature land. Pass. I mean, I feel like we're still in a really good spot here. Ideally, because we like just these creature. The lands making tokens is just very, very good. So I feel like we're eventually going to overwhelm our opponent. Play Lorcana. Have y'all played Lorcana? Is Lorcana actually good? Like, is it worth it? I see people like tweeting about it and talking about it on social media. Is it actually? It's kind of funny to see people that I know really like Magic playing Lorcana. Richard has gotten really into One Piece. I don't know if that's a sign that these other games are really good or that people are, whatever, not 100% happy with Magic at the moment. Can you play Lorcana online? Is there a Magic Online equivalent with Lorcana? So their opponent can sack the food to go to 5. Well, all right. Well, let's just keep making tokens. The fish are going to get you eventually. Star Wars Unlimited is the best game. I feel like we talked about that before. Is Star Wars Unlimited connected to the old Star Wars game, or is it its own thing? Mickey Mouse cease and desisted. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the downside of Lorcana, right? Is it's run by Disney, and they're probably going to be super. Ooh, can you make content about Lorcana? I didn't even think about that. One of the nice things about Magic and Wizards is they just have the fan art policy, right? Where if you want to make content or make art of the characters, as long as you're not doing it commercially, it's fine. Like, it's explicitly allowed. I bet Disney is maybe not exactly like that. So opponent goes to 5. We swing with everything. Do we just wait one more turn? So opponent blocks. Yeah, we can't win yet. Well, let's just pass. What a weird matchup. Speaking of card games, did anyone ever play Eternal, LSV's card game? I did not. I played Storybook Brawl, which was a game he worked on. I actually really liked Storybook Brawl before. It kind of fell apart at the end. But I enjoyed the game. Can we build standard Super Friends on stream? I just want to see how it plays. Who maybe at some point. Oh, they find a Shieldred too. Standard Super Friends with, yeah, Torch can't hit face though. Standard Super Friends, wait, not Innkeeper's Talent? Is that the idea? Super Friends without Innkeeper's Talent? Well, make a fish. Untap. Get Draped. Oh, I think that's going to do it. The Get Lost should do it. So we can Get Lost to Shieldred. We can... Oh, opponent scoops it up. Oh, the grind. But in the end, the tokens got there. I play Eternal very close to Magic. Which of the non-Magic games is closest to Magic? So let's see these playtest cards. Actually, let's look at Tangrath real quick. Tangrath Telling Hero. 5 mana 4/4 Vigilance. We have a, hey, thank you, Miko. We have a new donation from Magikarp, $3.50. Getting back into game design, starting with familiar territory, trying to make a raid boss of an arch enemy variant, and I'm not sure how it'd play for a pre-con only environment, not like EDH overall, and I want yours and chat's feedback on first impressions. So getting back into game design, starting with familiar territory, trying to make a raid boss. Wait, so Mega Magikarp, what is a raid boss? Trying to make a raid boss as an arch enemy variant, but I'm not sure how it'd play. So what is a raid boss? That's the thing I don't know if I'm familiar with what a raid boss is. Also, that's super sweet. Game design, I've never actually tried to game design. I'd probably just make a bunch of Blood Moons and Panharmonicons and no one would play, but I think I feel like maybe I could do game design. I feel like if you play enough Magic, you probably can be pretty decent at it. Raid boss is like arch enemy in Magic, but for like video games. Okay, so that's kind of the. Oh, I see. That looks sweet. Okay, so there's gonna be one person that the rest of the group is trying to take down. I feel like something like that could actually, there could be appeal to that, right? I feel like that could be an interesting design. And it's for a pre-con environment. I think that could be cool. I mean, I know that arch enemy commander games are often not the best commander games, but I think that's mostly because your expectation is usually that you're not going to be in an arch enemy game. Like, that's not what you're expecting, right? You're not sitting down thinking, oh, that's how the game's going to go. You're hoping that it's like fairly balanced. Everyone knows their thing. I think if you go into it knowing that you're going to be arch enemy, that it could actually be a pretty interesting experience. That link has the text. Ooh. Oh, we actually have a card? Oh. All right. So this would be for the arch enemy. Is that the idea, that the arch enemy would have this card? Could Kaedira Dantis. Oh my god, I butchered that one. 0007, welcome to the Fishbowl for the first time sub. Thank you for your subscription. Big subscription for you. Thank you. So, Argos Planetary Core, 3 mana 9/9, indestructible, Vex Hydra. 1, detain target non-land permanent. 7, all permanents are no longer detained. It loses all previous abilities until end of turn. Any player may activate this ability, and players can pay for portions of this ability's cost. Flying, Vigilance, Undying. Wow, that is a wild design, that's for sure. So you can pay 1 to stop any non-land permanent for the turn, but then the people fighting against you can pay 7 to essentially free all of their stuff and, loses all previous abilities. So does that mean that if your opponents activate that, then it will no longer have indestructible or flying or vigilance or undying? Like, it loses all of its abilities? I mean, that is a super interesting design. It seems like it's going to be tricky to balance. I think, but I think if you can get the balance right, it's definitely a cool idea. It is a super cool idea. Yeah, that is a sweet arch enemy design. Well done, Mega Magikarp. Well done. I like it. So wait, this would be part of Magic or its own thing. So my only concern would be, if you print this card, would it destroy Legacy? Probably. Like, that would be my only concern. I think it would have to explicitly be not tournament legal. I feel like it would be very cool in its environment, but I imagine a 3 mana 9/9 indestructible that can pay 1 and detain something, and it has Flying, Vigilance, Undying. I feel like this would probably break Legacy. Oh, okay. It'd be like an oversized thing. Yeah, I like it. That's a super cool idea. Speaking of Magic card designs, we also got all these playtest cards that I promised I would look through from Mystery Booster 2. I'm very excited for this set. I feel like the value maybe could have been a little bit higher, but the treatments are so cool and it just looks so neat. Look at that forest bear. And it just looks so neat that I'm definitely hoping to open some of it. So what are the best playtest cards then? What are the most interesting ones? There's so many of them. Why do we still do unsets? To me, these cards, they feel like unset cards, but like just almost strictly better. Bullshack Dragon, 6 mana 6/6, double breaker strike. While attacking, this creature gets plus 1,000 power for each red. Wait, I don't understand that one. What is the joke of this card? What is the joke of Bullshack Dragon? Are we not supposed to read the crossed off part? Oh, it's a dual mat. Oh, I see. So it actually gets +1 for each red card in your graveyard. I was gonna say that's like kind of ridiculous. Okay, it's a dual. I don't know dual master, so it's a dual master joke. The other thing to look out for with these cards is, are they cards that could show up in the future? There was one I saw that actually seemed, I wonder if I can find it again, that actually seemed like it could be a plant for the future. And we've seen this happen in the past, where like mechanics or cards end up in playtest cards, end up showing up in real sets in the future. Can't quite recall. Instant 1 mana Forbidden. This card can't be in your starting deck. Target player draws 3 cards. So this would be like a wish target. That's a cool mechanic. It would be horrible for Commander. It wouldn't even work in Commander. But it would be an interesting mechanic that you could wish for it from your sideboard. Don't worry about it. 3 mana, enchantment. Enchant card in your hand. Enchanted card costs 1 less to cast. When you cast enchanted card, copy it. See, that's like, there's so many ways that we could be doing essentially alchemy stuff, but in paper. What do you this is a good one. What do you think of this card? Should this card exist or not? Essence of Ajani, 3 mana emblem. As a spell resolves, put it in the command zone. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain a life. What do you think of the idea of a castable emblem? I feel like it would be horrible for Magic until they let us destroy emblems. Oh, Jundam yeah, Jundam is sweet. We'll grab that one. Glimpse, the Unthinkable. Legendary Illusion Rogue. 4 mana, Shroud, can't be blocked. The name Glimpse the Unthinkable can't be chosen. Huh? Can't be chosen? Glimpse the Unthinkable can't be Wait, what is that stopping? What is it? What do you normally choose? Glade of the Pump Spell. 3 mana land. You have to pay 3 mana. To play this land is your land drop. It's green. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trampling on the turn. Tap to add 2 mana. There's so much more they could do with. But why would you want to Pithy Needle this? Because it's a vanilla creature. Like you could name it with Pithy Needle, but naming it with Pithy Needle doesn't do anything, right? Because it doesn't have any I mean, I guess if you put an equipment on it or something that had an activated ability, you could it could potentially matter. Hiss of the Snake Cult. 5 mana Sultai 2/5. Nagas and serpents you control are snakes. Will errata this to be true? I see, like I think stuff like that is way funnier than a lot of the unsaid stuff. Like just like the self-referential, like memeing on themselves for getting rid of Nagas and turning them into snakes. As someone who plays Magic for a long time, I find that to be like the best kind of unsaid jokes. Hey, good to see you, Devin. How are you? Devin the Dude for the 13th month. Greetings and salutations to you. Big scoops here for you. Thank you. Oh, I guess that's true. You couldn't. Well, you could, right? It can't be chosen. Does that mean it can be targeted? I imagine you could still target it. Gobland. Land creature. Mountain Goblin. It can't block. It's just a land that's a 2/1. This is still my favorite. Indicate's still my favorite. Indicate's such a classic. Jundam out. 3 mana sorcery, retrace. Sorry, no remove from reminder text. Choose one at random. Create a copy of the chosen card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Abrupt Decay, Lightning, Bloodbraid Elf, Lightning Bolt, Liliana the Veiled, Tarmogoyf. It's basically Boomer Judd on a card. Lightning Elemental. 6 mana 4/6 lifelink. Splice onto an instant. How do you splice a creature onto instant or sorcery? As you cast it, you can reveal this. Oh. Interesting. As you cast this, you can reveal this card in your hand and pay its splice cost. When you do, add this card's abilities to the spell. Isn't that super? That's like such a cool design. That's such a cool design. Why don't we have more of this? I feel like lightning, so you have a big creature, but you can also, when it's in your hand, splice it onto an instant or sorcery to give it lifelink, essentially. So you can give your lightning bolt lifelink. Yeah, you would essentially give the spell lifelink. I mean, we've seen effects that do that, like spells having lifelink before, so it's realistic. Lutri, Pauper Augur, 5 mana 3/4 companion. Your starting deck contains no cards with silver, gold, orange, or purple expansion symbols. If this card is chosen to your companion, blah blah blah, do the companion thing. When Lutri enters the battlefield, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Wait, your starting deck contains no cards with silver, gold, orange, or purple expansion symbols. So you have to only play commons. Oh, so good. So good. This whole set, I think it looks super cool. How busted do you think Mox Poison would be? Could we print Mox Poison? Or would it just break Magic? 0 mana, artifact, tap to add a mana of any color, you get 2 poison counters. So it's a literal Mox, better than the original Power 9 Moxin, except you can only use it 4 times before you die. I think that would break things, right? I think that would break things. It is super cool, though. I mean, 4 times is probably enough, because it's still, the problem with Moxin isn't so much that, isn't so much the repeatable mana turn after turn. It's the, I have 3 mana on turn 1, and I'm just super far ahead now. I think that's kind of the biggest issue with the fast mana those effects provide. So I feel like even if you could only use it a minimum number, 3 times, 4 times, I think it'd still be broken. I mean, these cards do look sweet. There's too many of them to actually read all of them, but I'm gonna have to try to do a mystery booster draft when I'm out in Vegas because it looks so cool. Maybe I think you're right. Maybe the way to do this is to do a draft with the Goldfish crew. Ooh, does anyone know what Wrath of Leknif is? I almost thought about doing a video on this. I think it's a cool piece of Magic trivia. Does anyone know Wrath of Leknif? The history of the card. It's a 4 mana, essentially the same mana cost as Supreme Verdict. Sorcery, destroy all creatures. They can be regenerated. Untap up to 4 lands you control. I know you do, dog. Does any non-dog person know the history? Oh, Tuca buddy. Maybe it's not as obscure, not actually that obscure. There's another one too, isn't it? Where's the one from Kai? Yeah, you are correct. This was a card when Finkel won the Invitational. This was his original design as his reward card. Ended up being Shadowmade Infiltrator because WotC said we can't actually print that. Although, could you print it today? I think you could print it in Modern Horizons. I don't think you could print it in Standard, but I think 4 mana Wrath, untap 4 lands. I mean, I guess the problem is the untap 4 lands has proven to be super abusable. So maybe that's because then you have bounce lands or things that make your lands tap for multiple mana and it's a combo thing. But the idea of it, if it wasn't for the fact that people are gonna abuse the untapping, the problem isn't blow up all creatures, untap 4 lands. The problem is untapping lands leads to degenerate combos even without blowing up all the creatures. If it wasn't for that, I think it would probably be all right. What was the one? Naturalize. Naturalize 2. 2 mana, instant. Destroy target artifact, enchantment emblem or gameplay tracker. That should be a real card. That should be a real card. They won't do it, I don't think, but they should actually have that. I've wanted to have emblem destruction for a long time, and being able to blow up dungeons or City's Blessing or Monarch, there was a time when that actually would have probably been a legacy playable card. We need hate on those things. That's a problem. That's one of the big problems, I think, with those mechanics, right? Like, one of the big problems with that mechanic is you can't interact with it. That's one of the big issues with things like dungeons. If you could interact with it, it would make it less powerful, sure, but it would also make it a lot more fair, I think, in 60 card formats. Yeah, those cards look sweet. How many of you are going to try to mystery booster? I kind of want to try. Can we try the Roots deck? I kind of want to see. I'm curious how good. So Roots is a cool archetype. Insidious Roots is just such a cool card. The big addition for Insidious Roots is this random squirrel. Osteomancer's Adept. You tap it and you cast creatures from your graveyard by forging in addition to their other costs. I have not done any rootsing. This is actually another. Where I got it at least was the infamous small Japanese tournament. I kind of want to give it a try though and see. There's one person that's playing these like small Japanese tournaments and just crushing with this deck. It had like two or three finishes with the deck. I'm curious about that Explorer Ethereal Absolution deck. I can show it to you. It's one that I'm working on, but I haven't. So I want to build a Maha. I want to build a Maha deck. That was the goal. Is I want to build Maha stacks, and you got to go back to at least Pioneer to be able to do it. So I want to try to build in Pioneer. So the idea is Ethereal Absolution. Everything -1/-1. Maha gives everything 1 toughness of your opponent. So you just lock creatures out of the game. The problem I was trying to solve, this has also got Rottenmouth Viper in it. The problem I was trying to solve is because of Vein Ripper in Pioneer, there's a lot of blot outs. Everyone's playing blot out to get rid of the Vein Ripper, which is essentially you lose your greatest mana value creature. So I was trying to figure out a way, okay, so I know I'm going to be trying to lock. I need Maha to survive. The easiest answer to Maha is going to be blot out. How do I avoid losing my Mahas to blot out? My solution, I don't know if it's a good one, was Rottenmouth Viper, with the idea being, okay, we have all these Novice Inspectors, 3-bit Inspectors. We can turbo out Rottenmouth Viper. It's got 6 mana value, so it survives instead of Maha if there is a blot out. And then we lock with the Ethereal Absolution and Maha, and our opponent can't play creatures ever again, and it's going to be really cool. It doesn't actually win at all yet. I haven't really found a way to make it win, but I'm trying. Does anyone have suggestions? We can try playing it if you want to. If you want to, we can. I will warn you, I don't know that it's actually that like effective against the top tiers of the meta, but for Maha deck, play Leyline of the Sanctity. I have Leylines in the sideboard. Could play it in the main. But then what are we going to cut? No, cut the Rotten Mouse? I mean, I guess we could play Leylines in the main and cut Rotten Mouse. I've tried Roots in Standard. It was fun, but it didn't seem great. But I also didn't spend a lot of time on other variants. I ran Soul Cauldron, the red backup creature lets you sack. Ooh, yeah, that's a sweet one. Wait, so what do you want to see? What are we doing, chat? What are we doing? Also, a reminder, if you need any Magic cards, you can get them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. So what do you think, chat? Do we want a Maha people in Pioneer, Roots people in Standard, or I guess brew something out of the blue? Brew something all together. Give me your vote, chat. Give me your vote in chat. What are we doing? Maha in Pioneer, Roots in Standard, brew something. It seemed like Roots is winning. Wow, people want Roots. Das Roots. Brew, I vote brew. Work on brew. Import deck 5. What's import deck 5? Oh, that's just artifact control. When there's rotation, one thing that I try to do is I try to just play a few games with all the top tier decks. Just to know how they work, get a sense how they feel. So over the weekend, I was just going through the list and like, well, I've already played like some Golgari decks or whatever. If it's a deck I've played before, then I don't really bother. But I played like the artifact control deck, played through like Gruul Prowess, just trying to go down the list and play like 5 games with each deck just to get a sense of it. So that's why it's on there. All right, it looks like Roots is winning. Let's do some rootsing. So what are we doing? We're getting stuff in and out of our graveyard with Insidious Roots. The big addition, as I mentioned, Osteomancer's Adept. Osteomancer's Adept. The upside of this card is we can tap it and cast creatures from our graveyard for the turn. They're going to get finality counters, but whatever. So essentially it allows us to have this huge combo turn with Insidious Roots, where we mill this over, get in our graveyard, whatever. Then we get into play maybe with haste thanks to Tyvar, so we can tap it right away. And then we just recast our graveyard. Everything triggers Roots. We make this massive board, smash our opponent to death with a huge amount of plants. And that's basically it. That's basically all the deck wants to do. Please don't play Graveyard Hate against us. That's our one request. Otherwise, I feel like this deck needs Cachet Grab. Or Cash Grab. I guess Cash Grab if you want to be technical about it. Yeah, Cash Grab could be good. I mean, should we... do we want a different version of Roots? I feel like... Let's look at the deck. Let's look at the deck real quick. Let's try it. We can add Cash Grab. Cash Grab could be fine. I think Cash Grab is strong. It doesn't really synergize directly with the plan. It does help find the pieces, but it's not a creature. Wait, isn't Keen-Eyed Curator bugged? Did anyone? Oh no, we probably actually have to add Keen-Eyed Curator. Wait, is the Keen-Eyed Curator thing a bug? Or is it actually how it's supposed to work? Because now I actually don't know the answer to this. I learned a very valuable lesson with this deck. Don't play with Trick Pad. Can't get enough through the Whorehound triggers fast enough. Interesting. It's bugged, but in Egg of the Soul Cauldron version, it goes crazy. Well, let's play a bat. Yeah, I think what was happening with Keen-Eyed Curator is... if you cast it with Osteomancer's Adept in Forage in exiled cards, it was counting those cards towards the cards that Keen-Eyed Curator needs exiled to turn into a 7/7. Definitely, I don't think it's supposed to work that way. Oh boy, Golgarier, Faraska, and Liliana. All of this is bad. We'll take the go for the throat. Pass the turn. We're gonna get batted back. It shouldn't work that way, right? Even though, so what Keen-Eyed Curator says is if a card is exiled with it, or let's read the wording, because that's why people were confused by it. As long as there are 4 more card types among cards exiled with Keen-Eyed Curator, it gets +4/+4 in trample. So some people were interpreting this to mean, well, the cards were exiled to Forge when I cast it, so that should count. I'm like 99% sure that's not actually how any of this works. I'm pretty sure it is not connected. Well, I guess we gotta take the Lily. Play the land. Oh boy. The one problem about Roots is if you don't have Roots, you have a lot of janky creatures. A lot of janky creatures if you don't have the Roots. Oh, there's a Tyvar. We are very good at drawing bats, though. That's for sure. I'll go to combat. Get and hit you. Opponent takes the beats. Well, play the land. Play the Deep Cavern Bat. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? So we're trying some Insidious Roots at the moment. We started out with some token control. Now we're playing some Insidious Roots. Well, play the Adept. Ouch, pestered. I did a draft the other day. Cards cast by Curator from the graveyard do count. But I think that's a bug. I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to. They are counting on Magic Arena, but I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to count. Well. Oh, we can't even Forage. Well, I guess we have to Tyvar. Take down. Do a little milling.
Never give up.
Get back a bat. Take a Vraska. And Bachia. Actually, no. Do we have to block the Shieldred? This is very awkward. Our cards are not very powerful. Yeah, Deep Cavern Bat's kind of busted. It is very, very strong. Have you tried Scavenger's Talent? Yeah, Scavenger's Talent's so good. It gets ridiculous with the amount of mill you can do with the max level. Keep looping something generates tokens. Alright, yes. You got our bats, Liliana. Oh, we need a land, maybe? A land could be good. Does our opponent attack? Opponent's gonna attack. Well, we're gonna block. You get back your Lily. Untap. Draw. Okay, we draw land. That is good. That is good. We get drained, so we get to play the land. Oh, we don't have double white, so it doesn't work. Oh, that's way less good. Oh, no. Zorleen seems so bad. Oh, Zorleen. Deep Cavern Bat's just a Kite Sail Freebird for 2024. I mean, didn't Kite Sail only get non-creature spells? So yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of the upgraded version of it. Yeah, non-creature, non-land. So it is like hugely upgraded, but you are right, it is similar. Well, go to combat, hit the Lily. I think this one's over. Hit the Lily.
Whatever. Luck favors the
Tyvar can untap.
I believe in you, friend.
And then we just recast a bat, I guess? Exile, exile, exile. Get rid of Vraska. Play the Zorleen. Pass the turn. I mean, we're keeping the Vraska off the battlefield for now. That's our main goal. Ooh, Mesmeric Fiend. Yeah, that is the OG. Do we just let it die? I guess. Oh, Tyver's so good in the deck, but I think we're gonna let it die.
So long as evil lives, so will.
About it. Gonna draw with the Dread Knight and play a land. Yeah, the mana for 3-color decks in Standard is kind of janky. Well, there goes the depth for now. Well, hit the Lily, hit our opponent. We're not dead yet. Zorleen. Get back. Ooh, we get back Tyvar? Let's get back Tyvar. That seems like the way to go. Get back to Tyvar. Tyvar, take down. Do a little milling. Roots. Roots was on the top. Get back a Adept. Tap it. Get back the bat. Ooh, the synergy. Oh, the synergies. Exile. This deck does have some sweet synergies. That was a really cool turn. That was a super cool turn. Get rid of the Liliana. Play the tap land. And the game is on. We are our opponent's at 24, we're at 12, we're dying to Shieldred, but the game is on. Opponent. Thinking. Firing up the Restless Cottage. Going to combat. Everything at Tyvar. We're going to let it go. Can't do anything about it. Eats the bat from the graveyard. No reason to block. Oh, but Shieldred. Opponent plays a land. Moss with Dread Knight. Well, Shieldred drains us. We draw Tyvar. Play the Tyvar. Take down the Tyvar. See, all of this, if we had a Roots on the battlefield. So I think next game we play, we just... Oh, and the hard whiff. I think next game we play, we just have to hard mulligan for... We have to just hard mulligan for Roots. Or at least mulligan fairly aggressively for Roots. Ouch. This mana. Okay, we found a Roots. Finally. Finally. A little late. Zorleen getting back Roots is nice. But is it too late for it to matter? Opponent Shieldred drains us. Now we got no creatures to get back from the graveyard. Oh, they do removal? The whole house of cards crumbles once they kill a bat. Once they kill one of these Deep Cavern Bats, the whole thing falls apart. About it. Yeah, Tyver's, I mean, it's trying. We're alive. Not dead yet. About it. Go for... Oh, okay. The house of cards is crumbling. Bat 1 down to exile because of the finality counter. Vraska in hand, found it. Vraska's, yeah, sure. Yep. And Vraska going to treasure up a bat, maybe? Okay, gonna treasure the Zoraline. Interesting. Goes to combat. Attacks the Tyvar. So it's gonna die no matter what. Sure. Tyvar down. We untap. We draw. Snarling Gorehound. It could be good. Could be good. How do we get things in the graveyard, though? That's the issue. So we can Zoraline. Zoraline for Tyvar, I guess? Ouch. Zoraline. Oh, we should have sacked that treasure. Oops. Keep the new one. Autopay. Yeah, the treasure's still named Zoraline, apparently. Get back the Tyvar. Come on. Come on. We need some action. Mill. Get back a Gorehound. Make a plant. Trigger. Tyvar. Keep it on top. Go to combat. Hit the Vraska. Gain a life. Ah! Oh, the punt. Oh, the punt. Oh no. Okay, that was a bit of a mistake. Rubble Belt Maverick. You can only do it sorcery speed. Good to remember. Good to remember. I was thinking we could put it on the bat and kill the Vraska, and we could have, but it has a sorcery speed restriction. Hey Seth, do you think that Anna Pical is slow for the new standard format? I wanted to use it, but I can't find a deck for it. Yeah, I think that Anna Pical is a card of the power level for standard. It is good enough to see play in standard. However, I don't know what the home for Anna Pical is right now. There's not a very clear home for it. Opponent getting in at the Tyvar. Well, we're just gonna let it go. Sure. Tyvar down again. Glissa, yup. Opponent passes. We draw. We get drained. Well, play a Tyvar. We have done a good job of drawing Tyvars over and over again. Take down Tyvar. Mill some cards. Get a Gnawing Vermin. Make a plant. Mill some cards. Wait, are we going to somehow win this? Is that an actual possibility? Spider can stay on top. That can actually kill a Shieldred someday. So we make a plant. Trigger. Make a plant. Go to combat. Kill Vraska. Gain some life. Yeah, it hurts, but trigger, get back a new Tyvar. Keep the new Tyvar. Vraska down. Can we win this game? Can we actually win this game? Mill 3 cards. Get back a Dream Theft, make a plant, do some surveilling. Mill the land. I think we got there. We stumbled through the combo a little bit, but I think we got there. Mill it. Because now, mill the Gorehound. Trigger. Mill the land. Because we have this spider in the graveyard now, which changes everything. Because now we can tap the squirrel and play the spider. Exile some random lands. Oh, what a turn. Wow, maybe this deck's kind of sweet. We get to make a plant. Spider comes down, surveils. Trigger. Mill the Dream Theft. We get to blow up the Shieldred that had been the bane of our existence. Millet. Skyfish Spider. Yes, we would like to sacrifice a Fairy Dream Theft to kill your Shieldred. Get that out of here. And, I mean, I guess we might as well do this now. Exile it. Grow the Dork. And, I mean, I think we just have lethal next turn, right? We have found our way. We have found our way with the roots. Spider on top just in case. And, wow. Well, that was not the cleanest combo turn, but we found our way to do it. Insidious Roots continues to be, in my opinion, the MKM was a bad set with good support cards. I think that's a good way to look at it. I feel like, yeah, there was a little bit of punting there, perhaps. Just a little off the top. Pona goes attacking. Well, you block there. You block there. Oh, yeah, we got to revisit Desecrated Tomb. Maybe like Pioneer or Modern. That would be super fun. Desecrated Tomb does it was kind of the original Roots, right? We actually did it against the odds of it back in the day. Yeah, that is a good idea. We're gonna have to try that, Stone Rain. Oh, I have a question for you, chat. So, I'm kind of an idiot. I mentioned earlier asking how people's weekends was. So, do we play? Okay, we can play the Skyfish Spider. Okay, let's go. Let's attack first. Go to combat. Attack. So here's my question. So I'm kind of an idiot. Everyone already knew that. That's not news. So no, listen to the story. I know. I'm not an idiot, but listen to the story. So when you hear the story, you'll understand. So this weekend, my little brother, the basketball player, was around. So they were like, all right, everyone's going to go to the lake. We're going to do like a little, hang out, do a barbecue. I was like, okay, that'll be fun. I'll go. So I go to the lake, and at the lake, one of the things we were trying to do is throw stones at another stone to see who could like knock the stone down. So I thought, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I'll throw some stones. So I was throwing stones, and I went back and went to like whip it as hard as I could, and I don't know what I did, but something like, I don't know, like immediate like sharp pain in like between my shoulder blade and like my back, and it's still been like hurting. So apparently I managed to injure myself throwing rocks at slightly larger rocks, which I think that qualifies as being an idiot. Is that what it would be, a rotator cuff? Ugh. I know, that was the first time. It's like, oh my god, seriously, throwing a rock. Apparently, maybe it is just getting old. Maybe that's it. We should probably gain a bit of life here, right? Gaining life seems good. Spider. Yeah, sack a spider. Blow up the Glissa, and opponent scoops it up. Yeah, maybe it's just old now. But do you think I have to do anything for it? Like, do you think it just gets better? Do I have to go to the doctor? Ugh. Apparently getting old sucks then. Reminds me it's time to turn around, check my kids, crossing the road safely, hurt my back like 3 days. Oh, I have a very big milestone birthday coming up. Ooh, do you, Stone Rain? What is the milestone? If you want to say. Oh, here's let me see. I got the picture too. I need your feedback. I need someone to back me up on this. So I decided I was going to do a little painting in my house over the last couple of weeks. I need someone to back me up here. So doing a little painting in the house. Here is you can see here's Bear, who managed to lean into the wall and get some green paint on him. So that's I don't know what to do about that. Does anyone know how to get paint off a dog? Is that even a possibility? Do I have to shave Bear to get this paint off of him? So I painted a wall, and he likes to kind of like lean up against the wall when he was sleeping, and I didn't think of it. So Bear is now painted green. I don't know, interior paint. Water doesn't do it. I have scrubbed him. But the other thing I need to see is like, I need the opinion on the paint. What do you think of the color? The color's been kind of controversial. What do you think of that green color? I went to the store to get this paint. I found the color online, and I went to the store to get the paint, and the older guy that's mixing the paint, he was like, oh my God. He's like, I've never made this paint before. I've never put so much dye into this paint before. No one's ever bought this color before. Okay. It's so green. Okay, so all right, that actually, yeah, it hurt my eyes. That was a reaction from someone. You don't like it? You don't like the color? It's very green, right? It's Nissa. I bet Nissa would like it. Nissa would like it. I mean, yeah, there's no art on the wall right now, so we gotta have some art on the wall. Down on the bottom, you can actually see Bear, how he ended up painting himself rolling around on the ground. So you think it's too green? Okay. No one's backing me up. No one likes the green. No one likes the green. I knew that was gonna happen. Yeah, I figured if I turn my entire house into a green screen, then I don't got to worry about the green screen anymore. Mono green, violently green. That is a good way to put it. Go for olive green. So it's too bright green, you think? Got to tone it down a little bit. Wait, I saw September 1st. September 1st. It is Selesnya. Wait, September 1st is what, dog? Or Stone Rain? Oh, we needed a land here. One land, one keep, betraying us again. I mean, because we have the roots. Oh, all right. We should not have kept this hand. You'll be 50. Oh, congratulations. Well, I mean, 50 is the new 20, right? I'm pretty sure 50 is the new 20. That's awesome, Stone Rain. We'll have to do a happy birthday. September 1st. That's not a stream day, is it? What? Ooh, it's a Sunday. You got any big plans, Stone Rain? Are you gonna do a big anything for the big day? Okay, so opponent. Go Gary. Maybe we need Haywire Mites. Are they playing? They're gotta be playing Innkeeper's Talent. Let's go down some gnawing vermins. Go down some vermins. Go up a spider. Maybe we go down all the vermin. Maybe something like this. Zoraline. I'm starting to see the upside of Zoraline, which is Zoraline lets us mill in Insidious Roots and get it back, which is something that I couldn't really do before. So I think that's an upside. Maybe lower the lumen lighting and some art will melt out the Okay, I'll show you again. I'll show you again after it's done. Just wait, just once it's finished. No land, one keep. I'll show you again once it's done, and you can give me your final verdict on it. Although I think the initial verdict is maybe a little bit too green. I did, but I have a big bill to cover, so Pizza with Friends it is. Hey, Pizza with Friends is the best kind of birthday, I would say. That's how I would enjoy celebrating a birthday, at least. I mean, the sand is not great, honestly. There's no roots, bunch of one drops. Last time I saw that much green, I was at New York Stock Exchange watching the market go up. I mean, I feel like green is an underrated color, though. My thought was like, why doesn't everyone paint their house more green? What's the point in not having your house be a beautiful green? I haven't showed it to Krim yet. I'm sure he'll love it. Greetings from the USA, Midgard. How are you? Good to see you. Well, let's play deep camera, Matt. See what our opponent's got going on over there. Shieldred, Innkeeper's Talent. Well, we have an answer to the wow, maybe we can go beatdowns. Can we just go beatdown somehow? Rubble Belt, Maverick, do a little surveilling. Mill the Gorehound. Keep the Zoraline. I mean, we're going aggro. We're going aggro. We can answer the Innkeeper's talent. Opponent's got no threats at the moment. They do have a lost with one threat at the moment. Let's play the Zoraline. Get in with the bat. We're abs and aggro now, I think. Get in, hit ya. Gain a life. Down to 16. Opponent untaps. The last time I saw so much green, I met Snoop Dogg in Humboldt County in a green screen room. I didn't realize that Snoop Dogg liked the Olympics so much. Apparently he was everywhere at the Olympics. Hey Seth, I have a request. I would like to try my hardest to stack you out of a game of Commander at Vegas. I would love to. So my plan for Vegas is, as far as I know, I'm not doing a whole lot official stuff. Might have to do a little bit of like Goldfish stuff or Ultimate Guard stuff, but I should mostly just be hanging out, jamming games with people. So I would love to be stacked out. Please do. Find me at Vegas, stacks me out. It'll be a blast. Do we even do this? Or do we just I think we decline. I think we need to kill the talent. I think killing the talent's more important here. So we can play a Fairy Dream Theft, do a little surveilling, keep the land, play the Haywire Mite, sack the Haywire Mite, get rid of the talent, gain a little life. Oh yes, I will pictures, signing, any of that stuff. Bring it with you. I always love to say hello, and I always give people this warning. If you ever see me in an event, feel free to come up and say hello. Even if I'm in a game, if I'm in the middle of my turn or something, I might be like, hang on just a second. But even if I'm in a game, I always feel bad. There's some people that'll just go stand there and wait for like a 2-hour Commander game, and I feel so bad. If you're ever in that position, seriously, come up, tap me on the shoulder, say hello or whatever. Can you sign this? I want a picture. Perfectly fine. Perfectly. I mean, I guess don't do that to everyone. I've heard some creators say the opposite, where they're like, if I'm in the middle of the game, I'd prefer not to be bothered. Me personally, feel free. If I'm in the middle of something, I'll just tell you to wait a minute. But yes, I'd love to sign your playmat, or take a picture, or sign your Blood Moon, or sign your Panharmonicon, and hopefully we get in a bunch of games too. Could you please play in the next season, Blood Moon? Wait, could you please play in next season's Blood Moon in your deck? You would have Tomer, so he wouldn't be affected. Ooh, I might have to, maybe I have to break out the Blood Moon for Commander Clash now, thanks to Tomer. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to ask today. So last week wrapped up our first paper season of Commander Clash. That was the last episode of the season. My question for y'all is, do you have any feedback? Any feedback on how the last season, assuming you watched some Commander Clash this season, any feedback on season 16 of Commander Clash? Anything we can improve on for the future? So this week's going to be stats. We're going to do the stats episode. And then next week we'll jump right into the normal season with Tomer coming back full time and Krim taking a break for the season. Paper's so much better to follow. I loved it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. I was when we were talking about it, I was kind of like, I don't know, like Commander Clash has always kind of been associated with Magic Online. I'm very comfortable playing Magic Online, so I was kind of like, I don't know, it's gonna be a lot harder to like build the decks. Is it gonna be worth it? And in the end, it was actually a blast. I had a lot of fun playing Paper. There's just something different about it, right? Just like the ability to, like, I don't know, have the cards in your hand. You can customize it more. You can show off your cool versions. 2 games with the first one shorter. So we'll see on the stats episode. We had 30 episodes this season, and we had 47 games, not counting the one first to lose win game, which would have skewed the stats. But more than half the time, we actually did 2 games. So I think that's the norm, like actually slightly in favor of having 2 games instead of 1 game. Hey, Seth, serious question. What is your most hated card? Or at least one that you like the least? I'm really curious. Oh, so it's sometimes my answer to the most hated card is a little bit skewed by whatever I've been playing against recently or what format I'm playing the most, I think. What is my most hated card overall in Magic? Like, there's times when it was Curious Obsession. My God, I hate it. Oh, that's one of my least favorite decks of all time. But I can't really be Curious Obsession. There was a time when it would have been Karn Liberated back in the OG modern days. Oh, turn three Karn off Tron. Ugh. Or maybe Urza's Tower. What is it now though? That's actually a good question, and I feel like it's not. I don't know. It's not the most hateable time. Like Nadu, maybe? No. I mean, maybe it's still Karn. I think over the course of my Magic's history, it's probably Karn. So I'm just gonna stick with Karn. Oh, Karn the Great Creator. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe it's just Karns in general. maybe it's just Karns. Yeah, the character. No matter what it's actually doing, I just hate it. Bound at combat passes. Well, we finally found our roots. Finally. So let's play our roots. Yeah. And let's go to combat. Do some attacking. Trigger. Pay. Get back the Deep Cavern Bat. Trigger. Plant. Lands all around. Ooh, second roots. Second roots. Keep the second roots. Found it. Can do some blocking. I mean, we're at 20. We're in pretty good shape here. Zoraline's been really effective. Do you even hate the sucky one that no one plays from Dominaria United? No, actually, see, I don't think I just hate all Karns, because Karn Silver Golem is sweet, and I actually really like Karn Cyanoversa, the one that like takes up to draw cards and puts a counter on them. So maybe it's not every Karn, just those two. Karn Liberate and Karn the Great Creator. Karn the Great Creator is probably number one overall now, though, because they don't play against Liberated that much anymore. What is your most hated card, chat? Oh, see, I love balance. I have a pretty high tolerance for miserable Magic cards. I think it goes back to how I learned to play. Wow, thank you, opponent. Yes, we would love a big plant token. And another surveil. Thank you, friend. We'll just take our beats, I think. Sure. Thank you for the plant. Down to 16. About it. Why no 5-player commander games? I mean, 4 is just a normal number, right? There's been a couple of times we've considered doing 3 in like an emergency when someone had internet issues at the last minute or something, but we've avoided that too. How bad do you think a 3-person game would be? Oh, in Commander, it might be Eldrazi in Commander. There's nothing that annoys me more in Commander than being annihilated by an Eldrazi. I know some people, Tomer hates Heuristic Study like more than anything. I actually don't really mind Heuristic Study. I don't think is Heuristic Study really that bad? I feel like it's almost a meme at this point, and it's not actually nearly as bad as. I mean, it's good, but is it really that salty? What is the salty aspect of Heuristic Study? Well, we're gonna go to combat. We're gonna do some attacking. See if we can close out this game. Swing, 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 swing. All right, opponent. Trigger, trigger. Zoraline. What do we have to get back? Nothing great. Yeah, let's just decline. We can recast stuff from the graveyard if we need to anyway. Hit ya. I can't believe our opponent hasn't drawn more removal. That's been the weirdest part of this game, is our opponent just has not really drawn much removal. Isn't our opponent dead here? Okay, they're gonna sack their food. Sure. That does keep our opponent alive temporarily. Down to 2. Down to 2. However, the bad news for our opponent is now we get to exile a Maverick, trigger, mill, and Yeah, I guess we should have done this first. It doesn't really matter. Like, either our opponent draws a Wrath or we just win, right? Let's just do it this way to make another token. Get back the Haywire Might. Exile, and exile. Double plants. Our plants are bigger than your Shieldrits. Keep the spider. Do a little surveilling. Keep the spider. And keep the spider again. All right, opponent. Show us Deadly Cover-Up. Deadly Cover-Up or Bust. And it looks like Bust. The One Ring is so weird. The One Ring, I think, is one of the least healthy cards in Magic. Although, there is this, like... I feel dirty when I play it, but there is some power to it. It really does Smeagol you. It really Smeagol's you. It turns you into, like, a little Smeagol goblin. Like, it does. Like, play like Martyr Proc or Soul Sisters and jam the One Ring in there, and you feel the power. So as much as I know the card is unhealthy and I wish it was banned and should have not been printed in its current form, it gives you it really is like the perfect design, because it does make you feel like Smeagol. That's just like, yeah, you want your precious and it's so good and you'll do anything to like just keep drawing those cards. So as bad as it is, it's also, yeah, that is why it's unhealthy, right? And that's why I don't know what the current metagame percentage is. Last I looked, it was like 45%. I wonder what is it at currently in Naduville in Modern. One Ring. Wow, 47% of decks. You know what? Actually, they got to ban it, right? They got to ban it. They have to. Look at this metagame. We're living in a world where Nadu is obviously broken. Sun Cleanser is the most played creature in Modern. Sun Cleanser. And the One Ring is almost in half of decks. We're a hair's breadth away from One Ring literally being in half of decks. What a world. What a world. I think they got to do it. They have to do it. They won't do it, but I don't think they will do it. I hope they will do it, but I think they have to. In my opinion, did you listen to the podcast yesterday? I felt kind of bad. There's this weird paradox to content where people don't like positive content, I don't think. So yesterday during the podcast, we talked about what made a good Magic format, and complaining about Magic formats, people love it. Everyone's going to do it. So, but I want to try to do something that was more positive. I want to focus on like what actually makes a format good. The podcast didn't get as many views as normal, which is fine. But I thought it was very interesting to think through it. And for me, one of the things I came down on is one of the most important things for me for a format being good is diversity. And there's a bunch of levels of diversity. You need archetype diversity, where you want to have control decks and mid-range decks and aggro decks, maybe some combo decks. So you need that. You need deck diversity, where if you go to like the metagame page, you don't want, I think Pioneer is suffering here, where a huge percentage of decks are Rakdos mid-range right now. You want that to be diverse. You'd rather have, 10% Rakdos mid-range, 10% Golgari mid-range, 10% Orzhov mid-range. That makes a better format than 30% Rakdos mid-range. So you need archetype diversity, you need deck diversity, but then you also need card diversity. And I think that's one of the places where Modern's suffering with the One Ring. Like, I hear people argue that the One Ring is like not too good, which I disagree. I think it is just too good. But even set that aside, let me, for a minute, for the sake of this argument, let's say the One Ring's not too good. I don't think that matters, because if the card's in that many decks, I think that in and of itself is reducing diversity and making the format worse, and is reason enough to take action. I definitely think that the One Ring is also busted and overpowered. So I don't agree with that argument, but even if I granted that, let's say it's not too busted and its power level is okay, just being in 47% of decks, it's wild. It also shows why is Sun Cleanser so heavily played. So the sneaky thing about Modern that has not gotten nearly enough headlines, as people have talked so much about Nadu, and rightly so, but the sneaky thing about Modern is if you actually look at win rates recently over the last like month or so, the energy decks are actually winning at or more than Nadu. Like, their win rate is equal to, or in some cases above Nadu. In Sun Cleanser is the best attempt to try to answer the energy decks. So you see people playing either in the sideboard or in some cases just main decking Sun Cleanser. So you can play Sun Cleanser. Its big mode is target opponent loses all counters, which would be the energy counters and can't get any more. So essentially it's the best hoser for the energy decks. Yeah, and I mean, that's a bad thing, right? With this thing, with a card being so heavily played that it's essentially making decks 56 cards, then you end up being in the mental misstep problem, essentially. What sets are legal in Modern? So Modern goes from original Mirrodin, or 8th edition, I guess was the core set, but back in like 2003, up through present. So we're looking at about 20 years of cards at this point. Although, honestly, at this point, most of the cards I see play are cards that are printed in the last few years. That was the other thing that came up that I'm curious what your thoughts are, especially if you're a Modern player. So one of the other things I landed on, that good formats have an identity, where you can, like, in a sentence, be like, this is what the format's about. So, like, Standard is the fast-changing format where you can play all your new cards. Pioneer is the format that doesn't have any supplemental products or universes beyond sets. Legacy is the format where you can play pretty much all your really old expensive cards. Vintage, you can literally play all your old expensive cards. What is Modern? What is Modern's identity now? Modern used to be the format where you could build a deck and play it for a bunch of years, but that's not really true anymore. It used to be like Legacy, but cheaper. Legacy without the reserve list to some extent. But that's kind of like not really true anymore either. I don't know. I'm really struggling to figure out what the identity of Modern is. I thought it was a good pod. I want Modern to be good because that's all that's played in my area, and it's too expensive and not a fun format to me. I mean, for me, over the course of my Magic life, Modern is literally my favorite format. Like, bar none, no exceptions. Like, Modern is my all-time favorite format in Magic. So I also really want Modern to be good, just because I love Modern. I love it, and I know how good Modern. Ooh, okay, we have some spice. We have some. Our opponent's playing is it Commander deck here? That is a very expensive hand. Well, we got to take this ill-timed explosion, I think. Wow, that is a hand that I am very frightened of. Well, we're going to take the ill-timed explosion, see what happens. Surveil away the spider. I think. Gnawing vermin. Do a little milling. Do a little surveilling. Oh, mill 2 lands. Okay, keep a land. Pass the turn. Does our opponent draw a land? Our opponent desperately needs a land here. Opponent Pearl of Wisdom draws 2 cards. Do they find a land? No. All right, play the land. Go to combat. Do some attacking. Hit ya. Down to 13. Tyvar. The Jubilant Brawler ticket down to a little milling.
Let's make it a
Tick,
fight to
tick,
remember.
tick.
It's not a victory.
Get back an Osteomancer's Adept. Surveil away the Dream Theft. I guess we cast it. We might as well. Play a Dream Theft. And opponent scoops it up. What do you think of the pre-modern format? I like the idea of pre-modern. I don't know if it'll ever... there's so many cool-sounding fringe formats. I don't know if it'll ever take off. I think when it comes down to it, for a format to really explode, sooner or later you need Wizards support. And it's hard for me to see Wizards actually supporting pre-modern. So I don't think it'll ever be like a GP format or something, but I think it's a really cool player-made format, and it's something I'd be interested in trying. What's better, Modern now or Modern 10 years ago? So I don't know if I can answer this unbiasedly. If I try to like step outside myself and like get rid of my biases, I think my answer would still be the same. But for me, Modern was better 10 years ago. Or like, what is it, 2024? I think that I think it was better 10 years ago. I think for me, Modern, like, its peak time was maybe 2014 to 2017 or something. Like, that was a really awesome era in Modern. Like, Modern was super popular. That was the era of like 4,000 people GPs, the biggest tournaments that Magic had ever had in their history. Like 4,000 people showing up to play Modern. And I think it was just like, I don't know. It was a little slower, not as but a lot of the issues with Modern is issues that are just like Modern Magic, but Modern takes the brunt of it because of Modern Horizons. Like, the things I think that maybe make Modern worse now than it was 10 years ago are just like power creep, snowbally threats. I was thinking about it today, like in Magic today, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but in Magic today, it feels to me like if you miss a land drop, or like definitely let's say you miss 2 land drops. I was playing a game earlier where I like started with 3 lands and I didn't draw a land for a couple of turns. So like I missed land drop number 4 and land drop number 5 for 2 turns. And even though I could still kind of do stuff because I had 3 lands, it kind of just felt like the game was over. Like, it felt like it was, and I think Magic kind of feels like that now. Cards are so powerful and snowbally that little things like that end up essentially just being the entire game. So I think that's kind of the difference, is the power level. Yeah, the missing a land drop is you're kind of dead now. If you miss 2, you're definitely dead now. When before, sometimes you'd miss a land drop, but then, you know, kind of get back into it. So I think it's just, I don't even know if I want to say it's better or worse. It's different. I think it's fair to say that it's a lot different than it was 10 years ago. There's definitely upsides. Like, Magic is, in a lot of ways, more popular than ever. There's more players than ever. Commander is doing incredibly well. But I think the 60-card formats, I think they have suffered a little bit recently. Although Standard, I think, is actually very, in one of its better spots in many years right now. Like, Standard's low point was like War of the Spark, not Wilds of Eldraine, original Throne of Eldraine. Like, that was kind of the low point for Standard, and Standard has been, it hasn't shot back up to like its GOAT status or anything, which for me, best Standard is probably like Con Standard. I have very fond memories of that era of Standard, but like that was kind of my favorite era of Standard that I've played. But I think it's definitely trending in the right direction. I was thinking about the last podcast, and I've come to the conclusion that it's impossible for Eternal formats to last. Ooh. It's impossible for Eternal formats to last. Players want to play for cheap with mistakes from Standard that they've already paid outrageous prices for. Wizards wants pay to play, not getting around it, which is why every format dies as soon as Wizards starts designing products for it. I think I mostly agree with that. I think in general, 4-color Omnath, Oko, Omnath. Oh, that era of Standard was brutal.
I hope you've got bottled lightning.
I actually have very high hopes for Standard. I'm still a little skeptical of, I mean, that's the other thing too, right? Is if you've played Magic for 20 years, I think it's natural, or even with other things in your life, but I think it's natural to like maybe have rose-colored glasses or kind of have some nostalgia for things from the past. So it's important to keep that in mind. So as I say these things, keep in mind that this is not some authoritative, like, I realize that that's a possibility. I definitely realize it's true that maybe I was, it was 10 years ago and, just had nostalgia for Siege Rhino or whatever. And it's not actually that things are better or worse than they were at the time. Was Modern better now or 5 years ago during WTS in Eldraine? So I really think that when Modern started to change, it was really Modern Horizons. Oh man, I want to say it was Modern Horizons 2, and I think it was Modern Horizons 2. Although it was partly Modern Horizons 1 kind of started it. Modern Horizons 1 was kind of the start of the big change. And then Modern Horizons 2, I think, was kind of the, this is going to be very good for us. It was kind of that change coming to fruition, I think. Well, let's do some adepting here. Play a Vermin. Mill a couple cards. Exile, exile, exile. Make a plant. This deck actually feels... Ooh, Tyvar, too. This deck actually feels pretty... Oh, Tyvar. Oh, yes. Yes, we're... Oh, both Tyvars. Ouch. All right, mill the land. Well, we can exile them to gnawing vermin. 1, 2, 3. Trigger. Plant. Grow. Bat. Graveyard. Go. I mean, what do you think, chat? What do you think it's just nostalgia? I think it's natural to be nostalgic for things we enjoyed in the past. So maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe, do you think it's just nostalgia?
Observe, analyze.
I mean, I think that's a change, right? Is printing cards directly into Modern. I think we've seen that in Commander too, to some extent. Although Commander is still incredibly popular. Oh,
Well,
boy, oh boy.
gotta work with what's available.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. Well, there goes our board a bit. Opponent plays a land. Opponent passes. Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. When enters, you can sacrifice another creature. Well, all right. Fairy Dream Theft. Trigger. Make a plant. Maverick. Do some surveilling. We're kind of losing to Raoul at the moment. Mill the Maverick. Keep the Spider. And pass the turn. Am I wrong for being nostalgic for Oko, Uro, Omnath, and Standard alongside Emergent Ultimatum? Hey, everyone loves different things.
You get to be my protege.
For me, that was one of my least favorite standards, but if you really enjoyed that standard, you're not wrong. I don't think it's just nostalgia. I largely took a break from Modern when Modern was at its peak, but I love this Modern content. Sense the Form was so interesting. Now it's chips passing in the night. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. Although it's so funny because you can like make an argument that Modern is in some ways very not with Nadu, but before Nadu, there were people that actually would argue that Modern is. Yeah, thankfully the spider kills anything. People would argue that Modern was actually very interactive, and in some ways it is. I think it's... I don't know if it's that Modern's not interactive enough. I think players don't like free spells, maybe, like free interaction. Oh boy, I've never seen a Season of the Bold cast. Season of the Bold. Create, let's see, exile type 2 cards to your library. Until next turn you can play them in... Then 3 pause until your next turn. Whenever you cast a spell, deals 2 damage of up to 1 target creature. Well, I think we just trade here. Actually, no. We don't just trade here. Sure, we'll take our beats. Down to 10. Snarling Gorehound. Oh, they're just going to wrath our board, aren't they? This is actually kind of awkward. We needed a Tyvar. We needed a Tyvar. No, I mean, I guess we do it. All right, counter on the spider. Make a plant. Mill the Liliana. Go to combat. Hit ya. Down to 15. Well, let's see if we die to this season. Are we gonna die to the season? Bona lay down. Storm Chaser's talent. Trigger. 2 damage to a creature going after the... I mean, we're gonna get a much life if the spider dies, so that's good. Plus, our opponent's only got 2 cards in hand, so they can't go too far. Hits the spider. Makes an otter. Another... Ill-timed. Okay, sure. Ill-timed explosion. I guess they're planning on not discarding. Kills the spider. Exile it. Gain a bunch of life. Make a plant. Mill the swamp. Gonna draw some cards. We need a Zorline or a Tyvar, I think, are the big ones. Pona draws some cards. Pona gonna surveil. Well, I actually don't know if that was very impressive for 5 mana. So Season of the Bold, 5 mana. They essentially got a Ren's Resolve and then killed a spider? Yeah, let's kill it. Oh, Ooh, Zorleen. That's pretty good. Well, that's Zorleen. Hey. Get back. How greedy are we? Let's get back to Tyvar. Take down the Tyvar.
Impressed? Good. Your story's not finished.
Get back the Adept. Trigger. Osteomancer Adept is a huge deal for this deck, I will say. It really does change things a lot. Get back another Gorehound. Exile. Mill the Brushland now. And then I think we just Deep Cavern Bat. Mill the Adept. Deep Cavern Bat. Hope our opponent does not have like 2 Wraths in hand. That would be awkward. Exile. Trigger. Make a plant. Surveil. Keep the Tyvar. Keep the Tyvar. Let's see, we got an Antibonnet. Hopefully not double sweeper. Season of the Bolden Lands. Definitely not double sweeper. Keep the Tyvar. I mean, do we just keep going? Okay. Rubble Belt. Exile. Trigger. Wow, when this deck pops off, it kind of really pops off, doesn't it? Rubble Belt. Trigger. Put it on the bat. Fairy Dream Theft. Cast it. Exile. Oh no. Alright, we're going all the way. No fear. Everything exiled. Everything in plant form. See, maybe it's wrong to keep the Tyvar on top. Maybe we should just be fueling the graveyard to go as far as possible. So I think it might be possible that that's the wrong way to play it. I think Tyvar is really good, but maybe we should just be milling literally everything just to maximize the combo potential. That's what I hate the most. As much as I love the cats in Modern, the rotation is such a huge power creep waiting for the next. Yeah. I wonder how many people actually realize that Fury was absolute truth when it was first revealed in MH2. I didn't. When Fury was first revealed, it's still on the YouTube. You can go back and find it. But I think it was a short, or maybe I think it was a short. Maybe it was a spoiler video. But I definitely ranked it as the worst of the elementals. I remember that. And then Fury ended up, by God, just absolutely changing the entire format. Auto Tapper really likes tapping the plants. Can we see? All right, we'll add Keen Eye and do one more game to see if, I don't know if they fixed it or not. But we can add Keen Eye. I don't think the bug's even like good. Also worth pointing out, what do we cut for it though? Huh. Actually feels like kind of a fairly tight list. Hard to cut too much. All right, well, we'll add in a couple. I don't even know if Keen-Eyed Curator is good, but we can see. We can see if it still triggers. So are we sure? How sure are we that it's a bug? Because people are going back and forth on it. Did people think the free elementals were going to be bad? Oh, no. Everyone knew the free elementals were going to... I mean, I think most people knew they were going to be good. I think I just ranked Fury as the worst of the cycle of elementals. I don't think I said that it was bad, but when I ranked them from like 5 to 1, Fury was the one that I put at the bottom. Well, we have the Keen-Eyed Curator. Hey Seth, really annoyed that WotC started Universes Beyond because most of the cards don't speak to me flavor-wise, which made me uninterested even in reading them when they came out, let alone buying them, but I still felt forced to deal with them because they were legal in my favorite format, Commander. Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, I don't think there's any opting out of... I don't think there's any opting out of Universes Beyond. So I can understand those feelings. I mean, I think that Universes Beyond, I can see the good and bad in it. I see the upsides and the downsides. So I guess I'm kind of in the middle, fence sitting a little bit on that one. But I think there are benefits to it, but then there also are drawbacks. But I think that it is true that there isn't really a way to just... Because people said that, right? Well, if you don't like the cards, just don't play with them. But in reality, wow, that is quite the hand of removal. I don't even know what to take here. They're all the same card, essentially. Sure, we'll take the Tarian's Journal, so you can't accidentally play that next turn. Get it and hit you. Well, if our opponent draws lands, they're going to be in pretty good shape. Hit ya past the turn. Opponent, tap land and. Gonna kill the Adept. Gonna kill the Adept. Yup. Well, even more Tyvars. Go to combat attack. Hit ya. Untap a bat. Play another Tyvar. Keep the new Tyvar. Take down the new Tyvar. Get back a Deep Cavern Bat. Take your Virtue. Play the land. Pass the turn. Just watch Prof's Commander game with a sticker deck. Looks so unfun to play against. Yeah, stickers are... Oh, did you... Oh, what do you think about this idea for Commander Clash? I think it was Charlie or Moist Critical did this. It's like Sharpie Commander. It actually looked hilarious. It's kind of wacky and far out there, but it was kind of like the thing that was going around social media a little while ago with people just sharpening words off Magic cards. But they actually built entire Commander decks that way, and the end result was actually, I thought it was actually pretty funny. I was surprised at how entertaining it was. More entertaining than I would have expected. Huh. Well, let's pass the turn, I guess. Sharpie Cube. Sharpie Cube is back. It was a Twitter thing, but they actually made a whole video. A whole video with Sharpie decks. And I was surprised at how funny it was. I thought it was going to be not nearly as entertaining as it was. About it. With a handful of removal. How do we deal with a Virtue Persistence? Or several? Pound it. Gonna kill the bat. Opponent gonna kill another bat. And Tarian's Journal. Well, that's Fairy Dream Theft. Draw a card. We need to find... Well, there's Insidious Roots. Oh, but they have this Paw Patch formation is actually really good here. Pound it. Gonna sack it and draw a card and do some ramping. Well, we played a Commander game with nothing but slab cards. It looked awful to play. Oh, I saw that too. That was not quite as entertaining, but it was still good. The problem is if we play the Roots, then our opponent can kill it with Paw Patch formation. How much value can we get before then? So let's play Insidious. We're going to go for it. Play Insidious Roots. Take down Tyvar.
Don't believe it. We're in this together.
Get back the bat. Make a plant. Get rid of the Paw Patch. Play Keen-Eyed Curator. Actually, no. Let's just pass. I think that's better. Go to combat, get and hit ya. Down to 40. So now our opponent has to kill the bat to get back the formation, to kill the Insidious Roots. Oh, or they can just play Biza. That's also allowed. Biza. Wow, full power? Almost full power. No treasure, but very close. Opponent draws a card. Opponent gonna sack. Sure, draws a card. Had to play Paw Patch first, right? Wait, what do you mean? Isn't there a combo there? Wait, who's got a combo? I'm very confused. Well, Fairy Dream Theft. Trigger and... I'm surprised they didn't deal with the roots. They're actually going to let us untap with the roots for a turn. I mean, that is good news for us. Another Keen-Eyed Curator. Oh, right. We could play Keen-Eyed Curator and eat some of our creatures. I don't know if we want to eat them, though. That's the only concern. Do we actually want to eat them? So play the land. I mean, now we try to do things, I think. Well, let's play a Tyvar. Take down Tyvar, mill some cards. This might be a good turn. It might be a good turn. So we get back Osteomancer's Adept, make a plant. Then we can tap the Adept with haste. We can cast a Vermin. Exile, exile, exile. Mill some cards. Make a plant. I think our opponent's going to need a Wrath. I think we're going to build a big enough board here that they're literally going to need a Wrath. Mill. 1, 2, 3. So we can Zoraline. Exile, exile, exile. Make a plant. Zoraline. Get back the second roots. Deep Cavern Bat. Exile, exile, exile. Trigger. 2 plans. And that was a turn. That was a pretty good turn. Grow the dorks. Come on, no wrath. Ooh, go for the throw. All right, so bat down. Oh, God. All right, well, and then they died. Deadly cover-up. Oh, no. Well, all that for nothing. You ever think that tacos are just burritos that enjoyed voyeurism? Oh, so my little brother got engaged about a week ago. Yeah, I think this one's kind of over. I mean, maybe we can rebuild. We do have we still have roots. We have roots, and we have the Keen-Eyed Curator, and we have a Rumble. We're actually, like, I don't think it's over. Especially since our opponent's giving us plants here. Thank you, opponent, for removing a card from our graveyard. So many opponents accidentally trigger the roots. Opponent plays a Biza. I think we still got a shot. That was not good for us, but I think we still have a shot. So we can... How do we do this? Tap this silly thing. We need to get stuff out of the graveyard. So let's... Alright, let's Maverick. Counter on the dork. Trigger, make some plans. Play a spider. Sack a plant. Blow up the journal. Keen-Eyed Curator. Play the land. And tick up.
Take my hand.
And let's just pass. I mean, we rebuilt pretty well there. Wait, what did I do now? Ah, They didn't have that in hand. They didn't have that in hand. We know they didn't have that in hand. Oh, deadly cover-up into top decking the lockdown is so bad for us. Oh, what was I was gonna tell a story about my brother getting engaged, but now I don't remember where I was going with that. I was going somewhere with that, but just curious, when was the last time you saw your chin? How long have you been growing your beard? Do you ever see yourself without it? It's a good question. I kind of like the beard. It seems unlikely. Never want to say never, but I would say I think it's unlikely that I will ever go beardless, because I do enjoy the beard life. Oh, tacos. I was gonna say no. So his girlfriend is from like Texas, from a family originally from Mexico, or her family's originally from Mexico, but she made some Mexican food. I don't know what it's called. It was like a hard like taco shell, and it had like beans on it and meat and cheese, which I guess is probably describing multiple foods. But I'm not a very adventurous eater. No, it's like a chalupa, something like a chalupa, tostada. Maybe it was a tostada. But it was actually like fiance. I guess it's fiance now technically. But it was actually, I was surprised because I don't really like beans. I'm not a bean person. But it was actually like super delicious. I was actually kind of surprised at like just how good it was. So I think I might actually like Mexican food. I didn't realize I liked authentic Mexican food, but I was blown away by the deliciousness of it. The meat was like really good. It was some sort of beef, and just the way it was like cut up and cooked, very, very good. So yeah, I guess I like Mexican now. All right, let's run it like that. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Once you get the beard going and it's locked in, I don't think people would recognize me. I think if I like, carne asada, that actually sounds more correct than anything else. It might be carne asada. Once you get the beard going, it's like kind of impossible to cut it off. I don't think people would recognize me. I think if I cut it off and went to like Magic on Vegas, so many people would not recognize me. Fundraising was like the one thing I thought of as potentially doing. I've said that in the past. Like, if I was ever going to cut the beard, it would have to be for some sort of really, really positive fundraiser. About an underground mortuary. Gonna do some surveilling. Well, I think it's Tyvar time. Tyvar. Dig down the Tyvar. Alright, well, we get a rub about Maverick. Better than nothing. Let's mill the Curator for now. Keep the bat. Hit ya. Man, I thought we were gonna win that last game for sure. How does Harden look without the beard? Oh, did you watch any of the Olympic basketball stuff? I didn't watch it too much, but I did catch the end of the game against Siberia. Man, Jokic almost took down the entire United States by himself. Pretty impressive how close that was. Well, let's deep cavern bat. Oh, really? Oh, this might be a tough one for us. Multiple deadly cover-ups. I'll take the necrophacy, I guess. Go to combat. Hit ya. Tick up. Pass the turn. What is this deck? Why are there so many deadly cover-ups? Oh man, the Australian breakdance team. Pretty impressive. I didn't know that breakdancing was an Olympic sport. That actually, I don't understand how that works necessarily. Did they just declare like before the Olympics that something's a sport for that Olympics? Like, how do we end up with breakdancing? I mean, I guess it's kind of like cool that there was breakdancing.
We can win.
Well, let's, I guess, play another Tyvar. And
Thrilling tale.
let's just tick up for now. I feel like our opponent's about to Wrath. And then we definitely are going to eat this armadillo. So at least if our opponent wraths, they're not going to be able to collect the evidence, hopefully, and exile stuff. Sooner or later, we'll find a Insidious Roots and try to start to do things. Sorry for bothering you with this message on Universes Beyond, but it's important to me because the first part gave the opposite impression on what I wanted to say. Lastly, I came to another view on it. I just read them once they are on the table and let them surprise me. And sometimes discovered new cards for my deck this way that are uninteresting to me flavor-wise, but very interesting mechanically. Just want to share that take. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, Magic cards are Magic cards, right? As far as gameplay is concerned. And that's why I've never, like, I don't know. I've talked before, when I first started playing Magic, I kind of would have been okay with if it was a deck of playing cards, basically. Like, I'd never been someone who was super about the flavor. That's not what drew me to Magic. I know some people, like, the reason that they came to Magic was essentially because they wanted to, they love the art. They love the art. They love the fantasy design. Like, that's what made it awesome to them. That was never me. That was never why I started playing Magic, because it was such a great such a great strategy game. Like, I just really enjoyed the gameplay. So for me, I don't know whether it's a Doctor Who or a Fortnite or a Lord of the Rings or a Magic IP. It kind of, like, doesn't matter gameplay wise too much. But I can see why someone who's coming from, if you're coming more from the flavor perspective, why that probably feels a lot different. So what are we supposed to do about this? Oh, the deadly cover-up is just such a problem. Now we can play Zorlene. Hey. Maybe we just gotta go Liliana. Is Liliana the most realistic way of getting through this? Get a Liliana. Take up the Liliana.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadows like me.
Discard.
You won't be
I guess
outsmarting me.
Oh, this is bad. Discarded Tyvar. None of this is good for us. Opponent discards the land. Well, we will take up the Tyvar. We need to somehow get these endless sweepers and removal spells out of our opponent's hand, and I'm not sure how we can do it. The problem is if we rebuild, like, so let's say we get back Insidious Roots. Our opponent can just Urgent Necropsy, blow it up, Deadly Cover-Up, blow it up. The problem with this, like, Deadly Cover-Up is they are going to exile all of our roots, and there's, once we lose all of our roots, I don't know what our actual plan is for winning the game. Liliana Ultimate, I guess? Maybe Zorlene beatdown, sort of. But the plans become much, much worse once there's no Insidious Roots. And we're almost to the no Insidious Roots. Opponent. Last card was a pump. They have so much removal. My God. Opponent fires up the Restless Cottage. This feels like a ridiculously bad matchup. Let's see. Is it the correct deck? Yeah, it's the correct deck list. Exclamation point deck will take you to actually it's slightly changed because chat wanted to add in Keen-Eyed Curators, so we got like 3 random cards and put Keen-Eyed Curator in to see if the arena bug was still a thing, but turns out the bug is unlikely to have an impact anyway, I think. So I still have the Necropsy. Now let's take down Tyvar.
Never give up. We can
Get back a Deep Cavern Bat. Oh! a way to do it by getting back 2 bats to get rid of the necropsy and the deadly cover-up, but now they've also drawn a temporary lockdown. How does our opponent just draw a sweeper every turn? Oh, so now none of this matters again anyways. We don't have 3 bats we can play, right? We definitely don't have 3 bats. Man. The amount of sweepers our opponent's drawing is wild. Gnawing Vermin, I guess. Mill some cards. And do we even keep playing things? Well, play the Deep Cavern Bat. I guess we just got to make him do it. Like, what other options do we have? So, Deep Cavern Bat. Actually, no. Let's take the Deadly Cover-Up. So they can temporary lockdown. Get rid of our board. Get back all their stuff. Yeah, I did make a 36 Wrath deck. It seems like our opponent... That's it. We took the Deadly Cover-Up. That's a new one off the top. They really are drawing a Wrath every turn. How is that possible? How is that possible? And they took the Insidious Roots. Oh. Wow. Wow. Oh. I mean, is there any possible way we win this game? Are we at the 0%? Zorlin. Pay. Get back a Deep Cavern Bat. We're playing an Insidious Roots deck at the moment. Alright, well, take the Necropsy. How many cards are in our deck? 26. Tick up. Play the land. Pass the turn. So we don't have any roots ever. How does our opponent's deck win? Have we seen a win condition? We know that they are wrathing a lot, that's for sure. Yeah, there's a Deadly Cover-Up. Blows things up. Gets back another Necropsy. Huh. Yeah, maybe this deck needs, like, Duresses in the sideboard or something. Or maybe this is just, like, an impossible matchup. I mean, that's gonna happen. Oh, whoa. Not a Wrath? They drew not a Wrath for a turn. So... Well, Tyvar, take it down. I think we actually just get the Keen-Eyed Curator. I think that's the most realistic plan. Get the Keen-Eyed Curator. Pass the turn, make our opponent deal with it. It can turn into whatever it wants to be. Paladin, tap land. Fires up the cottage. Gonna go to combat. Going to attack. What are we trying to exile? Okay, gonna get a Maverick. I mean, we are gonna make our opponent blow this up. So, Artifact. Alright, keep exiling. Okay, so we've got, we've got our opponent down to 1 card in hand, and it's a temporary lockdown. They kill the Curator. We draw another one. Well, let's... So they have a temporary lockdown, so I think we... Oh, how do we do this? Jaguar! Viewer battles next week. So reminder to everyone, if you would like to get on the list for viewer battle, send me an email, saffron@mtgoldfish.com, seth@mtgoldfish.com. Getting it on, we had just exiled a bunch of lands, so there's not really, we can't do anything else with the mana, so we might as well clear it out. Plus our opponent is very dependent on having things in their graveyard, because apparently they have a lot of collecting evidence stuff. Opponent's at 20 still. Well, let's Zorline. Hey. Get back Tyvar. Take down Tyvar.
Today we carve our deeds. Your story's not
Get
finished.
back Keen-Eyed Curator. And pass the turn. Alright, opponent. Spend that temporary lockdown. We're trying to slog through. We're trying. Opponent. No, next week. So yeah, send me an email if you want to get on the list, and I'll make sure you're at the top of the line. About it. All right, there's a temporary lockdown. Wrath number 79. And what's the follow-up? All right, Restless Cottage goes to combat, attacks the Tyvar. Sure. The problem is our deck just doesn't deal that much damage without Roots. I don't know if we can deal 20 damage before we run out of cards. after this amount of Wraths, it might not be possible for us to deal enough damage. Opponent passes, Thran Portal. Well, we will go to combat, get in with his Zorline. Gain a life. Pay. Get back Tyvar. Hit you. Down to 17. Take down Tyvar.
We're in this.
Get back the bat. I swear to God, if this is a deadly cover-up opponent. Okay, just to get lost. And Keen-Eyed Curator. And Thran Portal on black and Gnawing Vermin. Milieu. And just to be safe, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Exile Armadillo. All right, pass the turn. Opponent at 20. What do they draw? So we have the rat to block. Opponent fires up the land. Gets in at the Tyvar. Sure. Eats. We will chump. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat attack. Get some triggers. Get back the Gorehound. Gain some life. Eat the Necropsy. Eat the land. Oh, we gotta eat the Tyvar, don't we? I think we gotta eat the Tyvar. Eat the Tyvar. Grow it. Hit ya. I mean, there's a Keen-Eyed Curator trampling over opponent, sacks the food. I mean, opponent does need to draw something. There's a chance, even after all this, we might still be getting there. Snarling Gorehound. keep the Dream Theft past the turn opponent. I mean, the lockdown only has a Keen-Eyed Curator under it right now, so getting rid of it doesn't do a whole lot. Bonnet, getting in at the Tyvar. Gonna need a Maverick, I assume. I mean, is there any way we can win this turn? I don't think so. The food our opponent's gaining life with is actually doing some work for them. Well, block with the Gorehound. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But our opponent go to 15. Heap Harvest. Do some ramping. I mean, we still got a chance. We still have a chance. Oh, yeah, we should have upped the Tyvar. Did I not up the Tyvar? Opponent. Plains. And passes. All right. Fairy Dream Theft. Well, put this on the Zorlade. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent has one turn. One turn to draw something. Attack. Attack. Pay. Get back a Gorehound, I guess. Keep the Gorehound on top so we don't mill out. Opponent sacks. This is it. This is it. It comes down to this top deck. Did we survive the Wrathieth Wrath deck in the West? Opponent. Up to 15 temporarily. Takes their beats. We will take up the Tyvar. And we will empty our opponent's graveyard just to be sure. Don't want them collecting any evidence over there. Exile, exile. Opponent's at 2, pass turn. Opponent untaps. And top decks Atraxa. How are they? Wait, how are they casting Atraxa? Wait. White? Oh, they have a single island? What? Oh my god. And a bonus said nice. And a bonus said nice. And he said nice. This. Oh, okay. Yeah, that does. I mean, they have temporary lockdown, right? Wait, they have the food, so this doesn't actually matter. None of it actually matters. They can gain too much life. Well, all right. Is there any way we can get an extra point of damage here? Take down Tyvar.
Just don't believe it. It's not a victory without you.
I mean, all of our important stuff's been exiled. That's the issue. Get a Keen-Eyed Curator, doesn't matter. There's no way to get rid of the Atraxa, right? So we can play a Tyvar. Yeah, we don't have a Maverick, though. If we can mill a Maverick, maybe. And then we need non-lands on the top of our deck. Do we even have any Mavericks left? Opponent's going to crack the food. I think we cut a Maverick to put a Keen-Eyed Curator in, so I don't even think we have one left.
We can win.
Yeah, that does it. Jeez. Razorverge Thicket to the graveyard. Lillian. Oh, sweet mother. Wait. Can we do this? Are we one manish? Oh, wait, no. This. Oh, no, because it happens at. Wow. So we sack this. It was so close. Liliana on top. Sack this. So we can actually reanimate it with Zoraline. Yeah, we can reanimate it with Zoraline, but it doesn't matter because we can't activate it, so we're dead. Nah, we can't get around lifelink. Our opponent's at 5. We needed to be able to hit them for 5, but we can only hit them for 4. I mean, the problem is they're at 5, right? Am I missing a menace creature? Wow. Hey, what's up, Stu? That was, man, one of the wildest. Our opponent's ability to top deck in that match was wild. That was every time we got our opponent in a position where they couldn't do anything, they top decked A deadly cover-up, a deadly cover-up, a deadly cover-up, and a Troxa. Yeah, I gotta go too. Can you send me a link to your Tangrath deck, and I'll take another look at it on the way out the door, Gwangi? That was one of the most obnoxious. Yeah, I would agree with that. The Troxa off the one island was just brutal. So yeah, if you send me your deck list, Kwani, I'll take a peek real quick, and then we'll do our reminders. I gotta go get Bear. That was some epic top decking there. If that was you, M. Bowser, for sure. Good game. So Tangrath, a 5-mana vigilance, taps to deal damage equal to its power to target creature. Then that creature deals damage to its power to Tangrath. I'm not sure if there's much of a way to build around that effect other than, I guess, trying to make Tangrath indestructible, boosting its power. I will say, let's see, deals damage equal to its power to target creature. So one note I would give is, if you put the swords on Tangrath and you want to fight a creature of that color, you're not going to be able to target it because of the swords. So that might be, the swords might actually be a negative here. I think like Hammer of Nazan, Mithril Coat, things to make it indestructible, things to buff its power. Not sure you actually want that, the protection though. The protection might end up being a negative rather than a positive. Doesn't it say target? Does it work how he wants? Am I misunderstanding this? Deals damage equal to his power to target creature. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I think I misunderstand. Disregard. Yeah, the sword should be fine. But yeah, I mean, I think you're on the right track. Pump the power, try to protect it, try to fight with it. I've never really built a Tangarth deck. I don't think I've ever even seen a Tangarth deck, honestly. But it's cool that it's a super obscure old commander, so it's always good to see some of those seeing play. So looks very sweet. Anyway, everyone, Toralf could be good. Yeah, I think any way to increase the damage that you can deal, if the plan's going to be to try to fight with the commander, any way to increase some damage and protect it is going to be the way to go. Yeah, Mithril Coat, I think, is the best equipment now for giving a commander indestructible. Yeah, Stuffy Doll, that would be kind of a cool way to go, right? Stuffy Doll or Brash Taunter to fight your own creatures for damage. But on that note, everyone, we got to wrap it up for today. So reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube. This we invite all the old streams, including this one to the future. Normal YouTube. Tons of stuff coming up on there. Lots of standard and other stuff as well. Some more paper games will be coming up. Lots of fun stuff. So keep an eye out for that. One more reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. And also a reminder that tomorrow gonna be streaming in the afternoon for the Ultimate Guard channel. So if you want to see some more streaming fun, play some more Magic, stop by tomorrow afternoon 1 to 3 on the Ultimate Guard channel. Most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome, and I love y'all. I hope you have an amazing night. Have a great week. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Definitely get your decks ready for viewer battles next week. So until then, everyone, be good, and I will talk to you soon.